Hello everyone, if you can hear me, please say Zeromus! And that way I will know that you are being attacked by Zeromus. To this day, I see that sprite and I don't really know what I'm looking at. I know there's like 3D models, but boy, that 2D sprite sure is crazy. Alright, we got people, we got followers of Zeromus in the chat. Alright, so today we're doing some more Final Fantasy IV translation comparisons. I think this is, I've already lost count now, is this day 16 I think? That's a lot of days. Let's see, we just got the airship, and what I want to do today is we're going to go to Baron Castle and check around and see what everyone has to say now that we've saved the day. And then we will go to, what do I have written here? Oh no, I didn't write it down properly. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. We're probably going to end up going to Mist, I think. And then we're going to go to Silvera or Mythril Town. And then we'll see what happens after that. If there's a lot of time left, we'll go to the Agart place. And I don't know. I don't expect us to go to Troya today. That will take us to the next part of the game. But if we end up there, then we'll go to the town first before the castle. So mostly today's going to be town day. So if you're in the chat today, you're a towns person. All right. Got a couple things I want to share today before we get started. First, I was looking through my old Japanese magazines. I have a whole bunch of Japanese magazines that I got for my Legends of Localization research about 10 years ago. I wanted to see basically what, if I had lived in Japan back in the day when all this stuff was coming out, I wanted to see what it would be like if I got Nintendo Power because I lived in America, but if I didn't, if I lived in Japan, what would have my experience been with games? So I have all kinds of old magazines from that era, and Poe and I went through them and like marked them all. You can see on this image here, we got all these little paper tags with cool, like, these are the highlights of the magazines. So anyway, I looked it up and I found the first magazine I have that has any Final Fantasy IV coverage. And that's what you're seeing on the screen here. Let me make it big so I can see it myself. All right. So this is from Marukatsu Super Famicom. This is one of the main magazines back in the day. And this dates from early 91 as I recall. And this is these 2 pages that you see on the screen is the only stuff they had in that magazine. It was covering like the Shoshinkai, which was like later became Space World, Nintendo Space World. But anyway, so they were covering Shoshinkai, kind of like our E3, I guess. And apparently Final Fantasy IV was like the most like attention-grabbing game at Shoshinkai that year. And so we have these 2 pages that kind of like introduce us to it. I'll just quickly go through what it says. I can't really point at anything, but so we'll just look at the left side screen here, left page. That big text next to the Octomammoth says like the battle scene animations are really like impressive. They'll grab you, like they're really, really good. Then there's red text that says new vehicles. And then there's more red text that says game environment settings can be changed. So you can change like your mono and stereo and your message speed and all that stuff. I guess that's a big deal. I don't really know. And it says you can even change your window colors to whatever you want. I mean, I guess that was like one of the big deals. That's so what we're seeing is kind of like pre-Final Fantasy IV, like how they were like building up to it, and these were like, I don't know, they're kind of just like imagining the cool stuff. All right, we see on the right side page like various characters with various like jobs and classes. We see Rydia over there listed as a summoner. We see in that little bubble in the middle there, it's like apprentice wizards. When you put 2 of them together, they become full-fledged. And then under that, we see a bunch of like the other main characters of the party. It looks like they're all properly named, nothing strange. And then it's saying this is your chance to play FF4 for yourself. So I guess maybe the Shoshinkai was still going, maybe? I don't know. But this was like the earliest that I could find very quickly. I might have earlier, but I doubt it. Maybe we'll look at more of these kinds of things later. But that's how they introduced it to people back then. All right. the next thing I want to do is a little different from usual. I want to show off just kind of like the technical side of things now. Like, I looked at the translation and I share the translation info that I know, but I want to share a little of the technical information that I know. So, Final Fantasy IV, the main text in the game, you probably don't think about how it's stored in there, but it's stored in 3 text banks, like 3 separate text banks, and each one is kind of different. So I'll just kind of quickly show you. And also I can go through this and I can kind of interact with it, and you can see. So the main text bank 1, this is kind of like the big text bank. And this is where a lot of the system text is, where like, you know, you find stuff in chests, or the end text good night, or HP and status recovered, and the door is locked, and that kind of stuff. But it also has most of the story scene text in it too. So we can kind of see stuff in here. Like here we have, it looks like this is the Calcobrena's scene. And right above it is like the black chocobo text, and below that is the white chocobo text. That's a really crazy thing that happens when you're a game translator, is because games are kind of like choose your own adventure books. They're not in a logical order. When it's time to sit down to translate a game, all the text is just going to be in a random order like this. It makes it so difficult to properly translate, especially these older games, especially when you don't have documentation. Yeah, so we got like the big chocobo, and then we have that scene where apparently Tella is Edward's father. We got the Golbez stuff in here. It's a lot of text in here, but this is kind of like all the main text. Like here's like the very beginning of the game, but then here's the very big ending of the game. Also this line here, you are entering into my realm, the Zemus zone. This text never appears in the actual game. It goes unused. So you're seeing it now. If you're seeing it, then you are blessed by the Zemus zone. And so it's just kind of like all of the cutscene text is in here. Some NPC text is in here too, like Baron, Castle NPCs. There's just a lot. And then it goes all the way down here. So that's text box or text bank 1. Okay, text bank 2 is quite a bit different. It has almost all of the NPC text. It has some story scenes, and it has some of the end game challenge boss text. You know, like at the final cave, final dungeon. There's those weapons that are kind of just like floating around, and you talk to those weapons, and then you have to fight a super monster. And then if you beat the monster, you get that special weapon. That text exists in Bank 2. It's not like it's weirdly. It's usually at the end. Wait, what? Oops. Interact. Here we go. All right. So we can see that like this is NPC text. Cecil the Red Wing. So this looks like Baron text. The NPC text is all organized actually by map or town, and then then think of it as like a folder. Like this town is like Baron, so there's a folder for Baron, and then inside that folder is going to be the individual NPC text. And so Bank 2 is kind of like just a bunch of those folders, if that makes sense. So it makes it more difficult for me to program stuff for. It was always kind of a hassle to deal with. So as part of the reason I haven't done the total line scene counter on these streams yet, it's kind of weird and annoying. I could do it if I wanted. Anyway, so here's like NPC text. Well, yeah, so that challenge boss text, the end-game challenge boss text, that exists in Bank 2, but mostly only in easy type. The Final Fantasy 2 for US moves all that stuff over to Bank 3. Yeah, as we'll see. Right now we're looking at FF2 US, so you won't see it in here. But here's just like all the different NPC text, all this text. It's just kind of like your brain will gloss over when you see all this text as a translator. It is intimidating when you first see just like a full Japanese text file like this. And you're like, I have to translate all this? It's a lot of work. Okay, so down here we see all these T's. This is where, I guess there was some blank space available, so this is an easy type. This is where they put like the final stuff, the final super bosses text, but not in this version. All right, so that's bank 2. Bank 3. Bank 3 to me feels like it was like, oh crap, we're running out of space, we better make a new bank. So it has the late story game scenes in it. Like mostly just late story and ending. All the ending and text is in this bank. Like Golbez, we defeated Zeromus here. Also, it looks like there's a saved text there. Yeah, all the Zemus text is there. And it just goes real far down. All the ending text is in here. But then as we get to the bottom, we'll start to see those late game end bosses showing up. Yeah, like you think the ones for the blue planet can handle this Blade of Black, Masamune. And then, so those are like separated between Easy Type and FF2 North America, if you're curious. All right. And Naming Way, the Naming Way patch, it uses the extra space in Bank 3 when it ran out of space in Bank 1, I think. Maybe Bank 2 also, but so that's how Naming Way has a lot of trimmed text in some spots, but then like a lot of text in other spots. It's because it's kind of like doing some technical voodoo. All right, so there we go. So that's the a quick overview of how the text is stored in the game. That's just the main text. The other text is also different. All right, so let's begin. Earlier when I was like setting this up, I think the emulator actually like just crashed again. So I think it'll be okay. I just gotta be careful. All right, let's continue and begin. The lines that say T, I don't know why they say T. I think they were just like placeholders for people to come later. If we need more text, just put something in on top of the T. That's how it seems to me. All right, where are we? We're 36 hours and 34 minutes in. Oh, weird. You can see my save 2 is way less and earlier in the game, but he already has over 1,000 HP, Cecil does. Alright. So let's see, we've already done all of the Baron Towns, so we're going to go into the castle now. Okay, Baron Castle. Those guards blocking the front are now gone. I guess we're now ripe for invasion. Let's invade this castle. Okay, we're still outside of the castle, but let's talk. Okay, this is an important line. I better break out of it in a second, but this soldier, this guard, is saying, Heika ga bakemono da to wa, ... Well, first, I will say that there's a typo here in Japanese. It should say data to wa, but it says dot to wa. It's just it's a genuine typo, and they fixed it in GBA, as we can see here. Heika ga bakemono data to wa. Okay, so that means to think that His Majesty was a monster all along. ... That's how that goes. And they fixed that in GBA, but they didn't fix it in Easy Type. And I don't think they fixed it in the PlayStation 1 translation. I'm not sure. Some other earlier Final Fantasies also have similar typos just out there. I think the intro screen of Final Fantasy 2 might have just like a typo right there as soon as you turn on the power. It's kind of funny. All right, oops, I gotta make it bigger again. All right. Okay, Heika ga bakemono da to wa na. All right. So in Super NES, that becomes a monster was turning into our king. Well, I mean, he's not. The delivery is weird. I don't like the delivery. It's not quite right. But this verb tense in English is wrong, so I'm gonna take that off. He wasn't turning into it. He was. Okay, yeah. So J2E says the king was a monster. That's fine. Looks like they added the question mark there in J2E there. And Naming Way says a monster was disguised as the king. So the delivery on these are kind of weird. I'll say it's fine. I mean, even the Japanese couldn't get it right, so I won't mark them off. Alright. This other soldier says, Ware mo ayatsurarete ita no kamoshimasen. So we too might have been being manipulated. You two might have been manipulated all along. Alright. Super NES. We may have also been under the monster's control. Alright, that's fine, I'll say. But who's doing the manipulating? Was it the king, like the fake king, or is it Golbez? It doesn't say who's doing the manipulating in Japanese at all. Just that we might have also been manipulated. The Super NES pins the blame on the monster. J2E pins the blame on Golbeza by saying, were we also Golbez's pawns? It looks like it used to say, were we also... Wait. Also, we might have been under his control? So it looks like it was better before. I don't like this Golbez reference in there. And they changed it. It's weird. I kind of don't like this monster in here, but it's okay. It's better than Golbez. Name anyway says, we may have also been controlled too. That may have is they're really fighting for space. Okay. I think I took off a point from them already, right? So I want to point out that the fonts here that you're seeing here, these aren't the fonts that are actually in the patches. I use these different fonts for my own purposes so that like the text will stand out differently from one to one to one. So this is the VHS font. I just used this VHS font because it was convenient. This is some other font. And I don't remember what the Super NES font is. So don't blame them for the fonts. Okay. Open. Wait a minute. I want to look. I don't know if we can see it. Is this like that's like a coat of arms thing right here, right? I'm looking at it closer now, although I'm not looking at it as intended on a CRT or anything. I'm wondering what that is. Is that like a face or something, like an animal? Looks like it could be a pig. All right, now we're inside the castle on the first floor. Let's talk to this guy who tells us all about employing the contraption upon the wall. Okay, he has new text. Okay. He says, Naki heika no koe ga chika kara hibite kuru desu. So the late Majesty's voice echoes here from underneath, from down below. Masaka noroi? Could it be a curse? So apparently they're hearing the dead king's voice and they think they're cursed. Alright. Super NES. I hear voices from the basement. I'm scared. Alright, so, okay, both of these lines are just wrong. 1, 2. I don't know why they would have changed that. Okay, J2E. I hear moaning from under the castle. I don't know if it's moaning. It just says his voice. It couldn't be. His Majesty? Could it be a curse? No, he seems to recognize that it's His Majesty. Alright, so the old J2E had a mistake in it by not mentioning the late king. They tried to reintroduce it on an extra line here. I'm just going to be a jerk and take off that point because it's weird. Alright, then in naming way, the voice of the king can be heard from the basement. Is it a curse? Would have liked the late king. That would have made a lot more sense. If you just take this screenshot in context, the late king would make a lot more sense, right? Here's these other two guards. Okay, this one says, Heika wa mamono ni ... oi itawashiya. Oh boy, how do we go with that one? Ah, crap. I don't remember how to translate that one. Okay. So... So the His Majesty was like something verbed by a monster, and then he's sort of shoot. I wish I had a thing. Let me bring up my site. I've already written about this. I don't want to have to rewrite about it or re-talk about it. Okay, I'm going to my site. I'm doing my own cheating here. I don't really know that phrase, itawashiya, or I should, but I don't remember right now. Okay. Ring Castle 2, right? Yeah. Yeah, what a pity. His Majesty killed by a monster. What a pity. That's kind of how that goes. I'll leave that handy in case I have troubles later. Okay. So it's like, His Majesty was verbed by a monster, or verbed into a monster. What a pity, but like, kind of remorseful about like what happened to the king. So Super Nista says, "Oh king." J2, His Majesty was murdered by that fiend? Yeah, how awful. Okay. So the old J2E says, His Majesty was murdered by monsters. How awful. Yeah, that was also kind of weird. Saying monster was weird. Okay, I'll take off that one point. Naming away, His Majesty slain by some foul fiend. Okay. Now this one. This other soldier says, Gorobeza hiki iru heishitachi wa subete hito de wa nakata. So the soldiers led by Golbeza were not all people. Supernius says an interesting grammar here. All of Golbeza's soldiers were not human. I would have put this not. So this looks like a first draft from the Japanese side of things. This not would be a lot better if it were in front of the sentence, so not all of Golbez's soldiers were human. ... So this, and effectively, like if a genie was doing this, it would be ha ha ha, now all of Golbez's are inhuman, all of the Golbez soldiers are inhuman, but only some of them were, is what is actually being said. Take off point. Yeah. Well, I don't think none. I think some of them were human, but not all, was the deal. I'm gonna have to double check that. What have I written on this topic before? Did I not look at this one? I probably didn't, now that I think about it. Okay. Already off to a weird start today. Already off to a weird start. So my take on this is that some were human, but not all, is how I feel. Okay, so the soldiers working for Golbez weren't human. This is J2E. Because we had Bygone, right? And Bygone was human all at first, right? Alright, I'm gonna take off point there. Naming weight, Golbez's soldiers weren't human. Okay, took off that point. Alright, now we're in the black magic research room. We've been here before. Okay, we're talking to a black mage, and he goes, Pokey. Like, Pokey, that's Porky. That's the pig spell. That becomes piggy everywhere. Then he goes, ah. He's trying to say like oops is what we would probably say. So Superness goes oops. Here's that like triple O oops again. I'm only a double O oops guy. I feel like old people, like older people than me are the triple O oops. Alright. So we got oops. J2E says ack. Naming way goes with nothing. Alright. Let me continue. Next text box, Black Mage goes Ikenai, and that's like uh-oh, or like oops crap, or something like that. So it's like Pokey, oops. That's how that goes. Because he realized he just did a spell on us. We're all pigs. No, we're not. Sumimasen, minimum deshita. That means I'm sorry. It was I did minimum all along. I accidentally did minimum. It's interesting. Like it kind of gives an insight into. You can say the spell out loud, but you can somehow get it wrong. It's kind of interesting mechanics. Supernius. Sorry, it was size. Awkward phrasing, but I'll leave it. J2E. Sorry, that was minimum. And then Naming way, ugh, that was mini. Ugh is wrong, he's apologizing. There should be an Alright, let me do that again. Okay, so the naming way just says pig. Prepare to say oink. And that's not right. Yeah, it's gotta be like hand signs or something. You're flashing some hand signs on the street. We're all back to normal. Alright. This other black mage says, Heika ga mamono datta koto o miyaburenu to wa mada mada shugyo ga tarin. The fact that we were unable to see that His Majesty was a monster means that we still lack a lot of training. That's how that kind of goes. I guess we or I, but I want to say we. It could be either. It doesn't say in Japanese. I don't know. His phrasing is weird, so I don't know. Super NES. I'm embarrassed that I couldn't spot the fake king. I really would like, because this whole place is about training, right? Like you're training to learn your better magic and things. I would have liked this to have mentioned training. I'm gonna take off a point there. On Super NES. J2E. What? Okay. The king was a monster? We couldn't sense that. We must have much more to learn. So he's just now coming to... This makes it sound like he's just realizing that the king was a monster, but that's not true. In Japanese, he's saying that, like, yeah, we didn't know, but we do now. Bit of a like a little loophole that opens up with that kind of phrasing. I could mark off a point on that. But I like this. We have much more to learn. That's how that goes. That's how it feels. We still have a lot more to training to do. Naming way. I'm embarrassed I couldn't spot that fake king. It's basically the same, but with the and becomes that. Yeah, someone pointed out that doing minimum is a white magic spell, right? But this is a black mage spell, so maybe they're in the wrong room. They should have a change of occupation. Let me double check with Tella. I have to consult with Tella on this. Yep, minimum is down here. In the white magic zone. In the Zenith zone. Alright, this other black mage is speaking now, and it looks like there's an easy type change here, so we'll see that in a second. This was the one that was telling us about how there's the basic magic spells, but there used to be more ancient ones that were way powerful, but they're like kind of like lesser known and sort of mysterious. Now this mage is saying, Yahari inishie no maho meteo wa sonzai shimashita ka? So the ancient spell Meteo really does exist. And then they changed the word for ancient, or like really super old, and antiquity. They changed that with densetsu, which means legendary. So it became legendary spell Meteo instead of ancient. Okay, and Super NES is demonstrating a common thing that I see in old Japanese to English translations from the 90s and 80s. It's a tense thing. And it just says Meteo existed. And that's kind of like true, but because it's sort of in the past tense in Japanese, the past tense in English is used. But we would probably say Meteo actually exists, or Meteo does exist. When you see past tense in one language, it doesn't always need to be past tense in the other. It's sort of a... tenses don't line up perfectly across languages, so you gotta watch out for that sometimes. Alright, J2E. So the legendary magic Meteo exists. Whoa, okay, so this makes it sound like they're pulling from the easy type. I should say that, like, ancient, it's ancient. I'm gonna give them off a point because I'm confused by their choice of using easy type, possibly. Even though they were saying all this time, like, you shouldn't use, or easy type is dumb, that's what we got. Right. Naming way says, so Meteo was real. Okay, that's good. That's where the past tense might show up. That was real. It really exists. It really exists. Yeah, verbs are weird sometimes. You just gotta get used to it, I guess. Alright, now we're gonna go to the white magic zone. White magic research room. Alright, this white mage says, Ima wa naki heika ga yasuraka ni onemuri kudasaru koto wo inoru bakari desu. So, right now, all we can do is pray that his late majesty, is that how we would phrase that? His late majesty? That's interesting. I don't know. All we can do now is pray that his late majesty will rest in peace. Can rest in peace, something like that. So there's ideas of prayer in here and resting in peace and the late king. All of that is like the main things popping out at me. Super NES. We can only wish that the king may rest in peace. Okay. Wish instead of pray. I'm gonna take that off because we know that's a thing that they used to do. J2E. We can only pray that the souls of the dead soldiers can rest in peace. What? No, that's a complete mistranslation. Not the dead soldiers. It's Heika. Heika is, I don't know if it'll show up on here. His Majesty. Yeah, it won't show up on here, but yeah, Heika is His Majesty. J2E. Are you gonna do it? Alright, it used to be something else. Alright, used to say, we now pray that the dead soldiers can rest in peace. Okay, so that was a mistranslation from the very start. Naming way, we can only pray the king rests in peace. Alright, that's fine. That Bacardi doesn't feel quite exactly like that, but it's okay enough. Alright, that white mage is now saying, this other one is saying, Watashi tachi mo shiro maho de heishitachi o tasukemasu. We will also use white magic to help the soldiers. Okay, this is a very you could take this to like Japanese, I don't know, 201 class. This could be like a quick assignment. Try to translate this. It's like very just perfectly formatted grammatically. There's no weirdness in it. There's no nonsense in there. It's just a very clean Japanese sentence that you can study and pick apart. Alright. We will help the soldiers with our white magic. Says Super NES. I like this mo in here. It means also in, or two. And then they're stating like what their help is gonna be. We're also gonna help, like doing this for the soldiers. So like everyone's doing their part, and they're saying this is how they're doing their part. It's too minor, and I won't mark anything off because that's kind of super minor. Right, J2E. We'll assist the soldiers with our white magic. Capitalized. Right. Naming way. We'll protect Baron with our white magic. No, it's the soldiers specifically. I took off that point. Yeah, they probably mistook Heika for Heishi. Heika is His Majesty, and Heishi is soldier. Probably just, that happens all the time when you're translating fast. That's kind of why I do this font thing. So you can't like, just kind of get like, what is that, road blindness? You know, when you drive for a long time, just everything kind of like blurs in your head, and before you know it, it's like you've been driving an hour. That can happen when you're translating, and you might just see hallucinations of words like that, Heika and Heishi. Alright. This third white mage says, Mamono ga Heika ni suri kawatte ita nante. To think that a monster had taken His Majesty's place. Suri kawaru is, oh, come on, dictionary thing. You can do it. Oh well. Is that in there? Alright, Super NES. We couldn't tell that the king was fake. It's not about that. The whole point is about His Majesty and monsters. And it's not about I. Okay, J2E. To think that a monster had replaced the king, ... These ... are weird. But yeah, that's close. Anyway, to think a fiend took the king's place. Yeah, so Mamono is kind of like the default word for monster in a lot of these Japanese RPGs, Mamono. But a lot of times outside of that, a fiend is a good word for that, Mamono. I think Akuma-kun game uses Mamono a lot that way. Alright, now where should I go? If I had a polls, I would let the chat tell me where to go next, but I'm too lazy. Yeah, let's not go there. We'll do the king stuff afterwards. Let's just keep going up. We'll just keep going north. Or up, or something. We're assuming north direction. Alright, now these guards are different, right? These are the royal guards. These are like the imperial guards or whatever. Super guards, I sometimes call them. Clearly different. Okay, they're guarding the way. This one says, Heika no hembo ni kizuite nagara inochi ga oshi bakari ni. So apparently this one is saying that, like, although I recognized the king's transformation, I valued my life so much that ... Okay, this became in Super NES. I knew there was something wrong about the king, but I didn't want to lose my life. So that explains, like, where all the soldiers had gone to. Himbo is transfiguration, technically. So, like, I would like them to start talking about, like, the transformation to have been in here, but I won't take that off. I don't think I see anyone talking about the Himbo, the transfiguration. Alright, J2E. Even though I realized that the king had changed, okay, that's fine enough. I kept quiet to protect myself. Okay, that's good. He used to say, I said nothing to protect myself. Yeah, it's better phrased up. This newer way. Naming Way says, I knew something was wrong with the king, but I didn't want to be executed. Okay. I guess so. He's talking about specifically, like, he values his life. I don't really know. I'll just say it's okay. This other guard, super guard, says Lusu wa omakaseo. And saying, he's telling Cecil emphatically and positively and politely, like, we'll hold down the fort with the idea of while you're gone, or we'll keep this place safe while you're gone. The whole point of this is Lusu, R-U-S-U, is like when you're absent from, like when you leave home or you leave somewhere and you leave it empty, then you're doing Lusu. So he's saying, while you're doing your Lusu, leave it to us. Leave things to us while you're away, basically. Leave things to us while you're away. So he's saying, like, go out and do your stuff beneath the text. He's saying, go do your stuff. We got this place handled. The Super NES says, we'll post guard here, which doesn't convey it as well as I would like, but okay. J2E. J2E handles it right, so I'll take off the points on Naming Way and Super NES for now. Okay, J2E says, we will handle things while you are away. Okay, that's good. And the Naming Way just says, we'll guard here. Alright. Now we're talking to a normal soldier. Normal soldier. It says, Seshiru-sama, Heika no mune no. And it's like, Sir Cecil, avenge his majesty. There's a lot of, so there's technically no verb in here, but we can just assume, because mune no harasu is kind of like to clear the air of chagrin or regret, so it kind of just means avenge. Like, so Super NES, please avenge the king. Doesn't reference Cecil, but I'm okay with that. But the fact that he's calling us by name is kind of cool. I would have liked that. J2E says, Lord Cecil, avenge the king. Lord again is weird, but I'll say it's okay. Naming Way, please avenge his majesty. Okay. All fine, I think. I seem to recall I wrote something on this. Alright, this other guard says, Seshiru-sama, o no za ni tsuite kudasai. So, Sir Cecil, please take the king's throne. Please take the throne. Please sit on the throne. Something like that. Super NES, please take the throne. Again, I really would have liked this to mention Cecil because everyone's like really happy to see us, calling us by name and politely. Yeah, after our major disgrace earlier in the game, everyone's just like the exact opposite, kind of. But I'll say it's fine. J2E, Sir Cecil, please take the throne. Naming way, please Cecil, take the throne. I would have liked, because we are like a super, in the army, we're like pretty high ranking, like extremely high ranking. So you just say Cecil like that, it's kind of weird to me. I won't mark off on that. I'm gonna be king-like today, and at least in this castle. I got some more guards over here. Alright, this other soldier now says, Warega ga ryukishi no hokori ni kakete shiro o mamorimasu. So we will protect the castle on the pride of we Dragon Knights. Hopefully that makes sense. And then they're gonna like put their pride as Dragon Knights on the line to protect the castle. So they're a proud group. Super NES says, we, the Dragoons, will defend the castle. Okay, I'll say that's fine. J2E, we will defend the castle in the name of the Dragon Knights. Technically it's pride, but naming is fine. Naming way, we Dragoons shall defend Baron. I would have liked that to actually say castle. We don't want to start thinking they're going to go protect the town outside. Okay, this other soldier says, Kain-san ni awaseru kao ga nai desu yo. So literally this means I have no face to show to Mr. Kane. But that means like I'm so dishonored I can't show myself to him. That's how that goes. Specifically, you can't look Kane in the face because he's so ashamed, dishonored, or whatever. Kain-san. Super NES. I'm ashamed. Okay, so the whole Kane thing is wrong. J2E. Sir Kane is unflappable! Exclamation. Okay, that's just a mistranslation entirely. He used to say, nothing can faze Sir Kane, and that was also wrong. So this was a mistranslation. So the J2E patch was like just a bunch of people working on the patch together, like a whole, like, what's that phrase, too many cooks in the kitchen feeling. So while the first part of the game was kind of solid, we're starting to see pop culture references and more translation mistakes sneaking in as we're at this stage of the game. I don't know what to make of that, but let's just keep watching and see how it goes. Kane cannot be flapped. Naming away says, I'm ashamed, ... Alright. Alright, now we're going into the throne room. Uh-oh. But before we get to the throne room, we got to that terrible death room where Palom and Porum turned into stone. We can actually talk to their lifeless statues. And it gives you the option to try to heal them with an item. And this is a big reason why people thought in America that you could heal these Palom and Porum somehow, because it gives you the option to. And that led to the rumors that there were secret items in the Japanese version, and that took a while to get debunked. This was all back in the 90s, so it took more time to debunk things. Nowadays you can do it on social media in like 10 seconds, but back then it was like months or years, so things spread a lot. I wonder how it was. I have to watch, is there a documentary about like the Mew under the truck thing? Because I would love to watch that kind of stuff. Like, not like the ones where it's like the 10 crazy things that you never knew, but more just like a nice, calm, like short documentary about it. Yeah, so you can try different things. I'll try diet food. No effect, nothing happened. But if you try the gold needle, do I have one? Yeah, I have gold needles. So in this game, gold needle item will heal your petrification. If you get petrified in battle, you'll get healed. So Japanese players would naturally try this. And so trying the gold needle on the statue brings up that text that we saw before. Futari no ishi ni yori seki ka shiteru no de kouka ga nai. So there's no effect because they've become stone of their own will, of both of their wills. We saw that before. And so that weird mechanic is what caused trouble overseas. And the developers never knew or never even anticipated such a thing. That's a big thing. I should make an article or just like an intro about it, but pretty much as a translator or just any walk of life, you can never anticipate how and when people will misinterpret you or misunderstand you. So the best you can do is try to do your best to be as clear as possible. And I guess as a game developer, putting that in there was probably cute, but they had no idea that it would turn into like weird rumors and all kinds of commotion overseas eventually. Okay, so there's two guards in the throne rooms, the royal guards. Alright, so I'm talking to the left one. Nido to mamono ni shiro wa watashimasen. We'll never let the castle fall into monsters' hands again. Never again will we let the castle fall to monsters or something like that. We'll never give the castle to monsters again. And he's speaking, politely because he's formal guy, and also we're military people. I guess like proper military people. Actual military people in real life, they're rude. It's kind of funny how rude they are. Right. Super NES. Never again. We sure will guard here. That sure. Actually, this whole thing is either saying we'll never let the monsters have this castle again. So took off a point because it's just weird. J2E. We'll never let the monsters take the castle again. Okay, good. Naming way. We'll be sure that never happens again. Okay, the details on that is gone. Alright. So right guard says the same thing. I could take off another point there if I wanted, but I won't. People in the chat are talking about the weird mechanics in this game. This game there's a lot of weird bugs and things, and a lot of strange behavior. That's kind of the charm of it. We're going to be breaking this game apart for 50 more years, you guys. I'll see you again in 50 years when I do the Final Fantasy IV 5D voxel remaster live action form game. I'll see you in 50 years. Like seriously, they remake this game and re-release it every 4 years or so. There's always like a new translation. So at this rate, I think the next one will be in like 2029, 2028. Okay, we're gonna go down into the dungeon. Oh, there's a soldier here. Okay, let's talk to the soldier. The dungeon is empty. And there's an easy type change that we'll look at. Okay, so the guard is saying, Kono do mo tsukau koto ga nai to iin desu ka? I just hope that we'll never have to use these cells ever again. We'll never have to use these prison cells ever again. Alright, here's hoping we'll never have to use them again. Okay, so in Japanese, do has a lot of words, as we can see here. It can mean labor, toil, trouble, pains, work, effort. It can also mean a Chinese constellation. It can mean a tower. It can mean a prison, jail, or another word for jail. It can mean old age. It can mean wax. So just by itself, do, R-O, and then hold that O a little longer. Do has a lot of things. And if you're an educated person, you'll know what's being said. We're not talking about wax here. We're not talking about old people. We're talking about the cell. But because this was aimed at like a younger audience who didn't know that kind of stuff, they simplified it out and put spaces to help readers. So now it says Kono do ya, and do ya is very much just jail. It looks like it can mean other things, like one's father, but I've never heard that. I've never heard one's father, old man, one's boss. I can see the kanji for it, but anyway, it makes it less confusing. There's less homonyms to deal with, if that makes sense. So that's what is happening there in easy type. Super NES says, I hope we don't have to use this jail anymore. Oh, very good. And J2E, I hope we never have to use this dungeon again. Okay, good. Naming way, hope we don't have to use this jail anymore. And they just put 2 extra dots. Alright. And we're gonna go to the quarters of the soldiers. They like to talk about drinking here before. Okay, so there's 2 soldiers in bed. Here's 1 soldier in bed. Taicho Rippa ni nararete. So speaking to us with KEIGO, which is like the extra polite Japanese. Because, you know, we're like the super boss. Okay, so it's like saying, Captain, you've grown so splendid, or something like that. Rippa can mean a lot of things. Let's see how this thing does it. Rippa. Splendid, fine, handsome, elegant, imposing, prominent, legal, legitimate. It can also mean ripper or ripsaw, or establishing and refuting a doctrine. Well, anyway, yes, he's saying like he's doesn't recognize us at first, and then comments on how like great we look. We look awesome, kind of. We look splendid. All right, super yes, Captain. I didn't recognize you. So that second sentence I would have liked better. So super yes, we lost a point. J2E, Captain, you've become so splendid. Me? Oh, I'm much better. Alright, so these 2 sentences, me, oh, I'm much better, were added in by J2E. So marking off both points on that. And we can see that this was added in by someone for the more modern patch. Modern being 25 years ago. If you're 25, you're modern, you guys. Alright, naming anyway says, Captain, I didn't recognize you. It's the same as the Super NES, so I'll take off a point there. Alright. This other soldier in bed says, Ikite oraretan desu ne. And again, using the KEIGO, the extra polite Japanese, and saying, oh, you are alive. You're alive after all. And then like the exclamation and the ne, have a good like positive, cheerful vibe. It's like, oh, you are alive, sir, or something like that. Oh, sir, you are alive. Is how I would do it. Super NES says, oh, you're alive. Would have liked better on that. That's okay. J2E, you were alive after all. Okay. Naming way, you're alive. Man, they're really, that KEIGO just keeps like crunching down and crunching down. You lose all of that sense of like extra politeness. I could totally just blast all 3 of these. If I got to be anti-bygone. All right, now we're going to the three soldiers, the 3 stooges who are drinking at the table. All right, so this soldier says, Heika nakiato, baro no tsugareru no wa anata igai ni arimasen. So now that His Majesty is gone, there's no one who can take over Baron or like inherit Baron except for you. There's no one else but you who can take over now that the king is gone. That's kind of how that feels. Super NES, you're the only one who can be our king. I would have liked that to have mentioned the late king. J2E, with His Majesty dead, you're the only one who can lead Baron. Okay, that's fine. Sugareru no wa is to like come next to succeed. Yeah, you're the only one who can succeed. Not lead, but it's okay. Naming Way says, you're the only one who can be our king. It looks like this is also the exact same as Super NES. Okay, this other second drinking soldier says, Kuso, hikute sai aria. And it means, damn, if only we had an airship. But I guess all the airships are gone. Was there only a couple airships or something? I don't really know. I guess Golbez took them all maybe. So the Kuso, again, I've mentioned this before. You can make it into a swear. You can say damn or shit or hell. You can pretty much anything, but it can also just be darn or dag nabbit sometimes maybe. Like it can go like all these different ways. But they take it out in the Super NES because like any kind of that harsh language, they just avoided that. Nintendo of America didn't like any kind of stuff like that. So I took off a point there. J2E. Damn, if only we had the airships. I'm tired of sitting around and getting drunk. I want to fight. Oh my god. Is my reference radar? Did a little tiny ping just now reading that. When did Fight Club come out? This isn't that, right? It shouldn't be that. Yeah, that was added in to the modern patch. 1999? Drat. It's like right around that time too. I'm tired of sitting around and getting drunk. I want to fight. I haven't seen Fight Club in like 20 years, so I don't remember the quotes or anything besides the famous one. But anyway, there's 2 lines in J2E that were made up out of nowhere. You know what? Made up lines out of nowhere. Should they be 2 points off? Because that takes like extra... I don't know. That seems stronger than just like a single like mistranslation or something. Like if you're making up crap, it seems stronger somehow to me. But for now, I won't do that, but I'll think about it and come back to you guys. Naming way. If only we had airships. Again, mistake there. Yeah, it's not -5. If I can't recognize it, but man. But that's not what he's saying at all. That's so dumb. It's like disrespecting the source. Like you can take things out if there's space limitations, but just adding crap is different. Okay. So we have this third and last soldier here says Akai Tsubasa wa ... Gorubezu ni ubawarete shimaimashita. Oh, there's the answer to my question. So the Red Wings ... wound up getting stolen by Golbeza. The delivery on all of these translations feels so wrong to me. Like the ... in there for a reason. And it starts with Red Wings. But okay, I'll ignore delivery. Superness says Golbez took the Red Wings. J2E says Golbeza took the Red Wings. And Naming Way says Golbez took the Red Wings. Alright, the main point is there. I'll say it's fine. Alright, so that's what happened. We don't have no airships no more. So there's talk that that line in the last stream about Rosa being a whore was too strong. That should also be like too stronger than a pop culture reference. Maybe we'll do like drastic characterization changes or something, but I don't want to start coming up with too many rules. J2E's like causing me distress. I have to see my doctor about this. Okay, we slept in our own bed. No one comes to change our sheets anymore though. Yo shupatsu da! Someone on the YouTube kind of was also saying that this probably that I'm a superstar quote might have actually also been a Saturday Night Live that whatever that movie was, Superstar, that might have been that quote. That came around 99, right? 98, 99? I hate to say this, but I might need to watch that movie to determine if it is a quote or like a semi-quote. If it turns out to be an actual reference, then I'll take the extra points off. Alright, got everything there, so let's go over here. Go to the right side. The right side is more interesting. Yeah, the rules are made up and the points don't matter. Okay. I like to open the secret door here from this side. Ooh. So we're gonna go into the secret zone. This was the treasury, like that was has treasure passed down from generations in Baron, as we were told in in the original Japanese. So what do we have in this like special treasury? A unicorn horn, but that was a dummy out in Super NES, so I don't remember what it was. We have a phoenix down. We have another phoenix down. A unicorn horn. An ether. And another ether. What? What are you doing down here? That's the best of your treasures? Actually, let me move those out of my... Okay, good. Ooh, I gotta clean all this up. Today I might clean these up. But let's continue. Okay, now we're out here. And here's where Sid's 2 apprentices are. Let's talk to them now. I remember back in the day that their text always kind of didn't make a full logical connection sometimes. Like, it just felt kind of weird. And then when I played it in Japanese, I was like, oh, these guys are so highly connected to Sid. And their dialogue is so clear. Alright. So, the apprentice is now speaking. And we have Sid in our party. Actually, let me put Sid in our party here. We have Sid in our party, and we're going to talk to the apprentice. According to everyone, like, Sid was, like, captured and imprisoned by the evil king. And so, no one really knows what happened, I guess. Anyway, so the apprentice sees Sid, possibly, and goes, oh, Oyakata no yurei da. It's the boss's ghost. That's how that goes. And then the next text box says, honmono? Shigoto, shigoto. And that means, huh? The real one? Gotta work, gotta work. That's how that feels. Like, you're the real deal? Oh, I better get working. That's how that works. Alright. So, in Super NES, that becomes ghost. Real? Ah, yes. I am working hard, sir. So this Oyakata is like your master, like if you're an apprentice or if you're learning a skill or something, and you work closely with them a lot, you call them the Oyakata. So like in sumo, the coaches are called like Oyakata. Any kind of like traditional stuff sometimes. Anyway, so a lot of the FF4 translations just say boss, but Super NES just says nothing, and that's why I was confused maybe back in the day, because it's just nothing about Sid is involved in this text at all. So, yeah, the part about the boss, about the coach or whatever, master, is gone. Alright. I am working hard, sir. Isn't what? It's more like, I better get to work. I'm gotta go work. I'm doing work. So that's also, I feel like I'm gonna take off that point. J2E says, ah, ghost. Huh? You're the real thing? Thank God. I thought you might be you were haunting me or something. So the part about this being the apprentice's boss is missing in J2E. Haunting me or something? That's last sentence. I thought you were haunting me or something? No. Thank God is also not in there. Yeah. When I click this, that probably will all just be added. Yep. Oh, yeah. The original J2E patch said, ah, it's boss's ghost. Huh? You're the real thing? Well, back to work, back to work. So the original J2E had it, like, close. Then some editor came in and just had some fun. There's, I'll talk about some other day. Let's see. Oh crap. I don't remember what points I took off. Tell me if I need to take more points off on this. Chat, okay. Naming way. Great, now I'm seeing things. ... Wait, Chief? Right, back to work. Alright, so the part about it being a ghost, I like that. You could draw fan art of them being spooked by a ghost, but now you can't. In naming way. So I'm gonna take off a point on naming way. But Chief is in there, I like that. Right, back to work, I like that. So naming way, you're almost there. So someone says in the chat, Sid is wearing this prisoner's outfit called Prisoner and Convict and Prisoner. It apparently keeps him from falling asleep. Weird. For the easy type, they just took out this little gnome in there for no reason. It doesn't really matter. Alright, we'll look at that stuff later. So the unicorn horns were replaced by Cure 2s or high potions. Man, those treasures of Baron were kind of crappy. Alright. Hey chat, is there monsters in any of these? I can't remember. I don't think so. I'm gonna go up before I go down. Let me go up before I go down. No monsters, okay. Yeah, here's more treasures of Baron. Right. And this chest is an ether. And this chest is a tent. And this one is another tent. Like, we could use those at the beginning of the game. We got another ether. They should have let us... They said off limits. They should have put the off limits elsewhere. Okay. Here's going one down from there. We have a high potion. And a high potion. We have a Hermes shoes, Aramis no Kutsu, and that one. Okay, this one had the Bacchus wine. This one had the Hermes shoes. This one is fun because you can't get it without doing like a little trick. Like if you step on here, you go down, so you can't get it. What you have to do is go back up, then face up and get it. Look at them doing like little tricks on us. Gameplay tricks. Okay, that was a Bacchus wine there. Alright. Alright, so this pot here is a notable pot. I will check it now. It has an elixir in it. Elixir, is this one of the first times we've found an elixir? Elixirs are like some of the best items in any Final Fantasy game. It fully heals your HP and MP. Just one person. Oh, I need to turn on a light. Alright, so in the easy type version of the game, there's a special weapon in here. And it's called, I didn't write it down, I think it's called the Kobuta no Shinai, which would mean like the piglet Shinai. And a Shinai is those like Japanese wooden swords that you see them do when they do like their sword practicing. So that you know you don't hurt other people while practicing, you use the wood ones instead. So it's like the piglet wooden sword, piglet sword. And it's unique to easy type, and it does seem to have the effect of turning enemies into pigs, possibly. And I think it has some really decent stats for this point in the game too. I don't know why they would have added that, but this is where we see that the FF2 US and the easy type diverge. It's another diverge point. One of these days we'll piece it all together. Oh, the other day I saw a Mario trivia saying when people pieced together when Luigi was removed from Mario 64 down to like a 2-week period in 1 year, and like within a specific year, based on like interviews with Miyamoto and then looking at the code, so that they were able to pinpoint it specifically within 2 weeks. So maybe we could eventually do that with this. We can pinpoint things down to when easy type in FF2 started and where the divergences happened. All right. Now we went downstairs. We're now the second basement floor, and in this room, when I walk into it, we'll find a second throne room. So apparently there was a second throne room all along deep beneath the castle. As we walk, let me switch to Cecil. Oh, that's right. If you came here before, if you tried to come here before, you would get pushed back by a mysterious force. But I missed that text. But as we start to walk up to this throne room, a weird magical thing happens. The light in the room changes and a weird sound happens. And the voice now says, Seshiru yo, ... That means, oh Cecil, or just Cecil, ... The fact that there's no Sama here, and also the phrasing, just putting the yo at the end like that, it gives the feeling of like an older vibe, maybe like an older warrior, maybe just something. It doesn't feel standard. All right, so that's what the voice is. Oh Cecil, maybe something like that. So in the Super NES, that becomes Cecil. Okay, I mean that. But basically, the yo suggests that there's a close recognition, a close familiarity with Cecil. You wouldn't really say that to someone else that way. And so Cecil now goes, Heika, that means Your Majesty. And indeed, all the versions say, Your Majesty, Your Majesty. So this is one of the few times where all the translations line up. We were talking about divergences earlier, so now they're all together. So we have to celebrate with... eventually, it'll work. So Cecil is confused, looks around, and the ghost of the king appears on the second throne. Then the ghost is identified as Baron O, which is King of Baron, or King Baron. Okay, the king says in Japanese, Genju no sekai e yuki, futatabi koko e kuru no da. So go to the world of the Genju and then return again here. So the Genju is what we call summon the monsters in this game, but they are called like espers in 6. They're called eidolons and things like that. I always forget what they're called because it keeps changing these days. But there's just like, in Japanese, there's one word, Genju. I've talked about Genju before. We'll probably see it again pretty soon. I've written extensively on the word Genju on my site, so check that out if you are interested. All right. So Super NES says, go to the land of summoned monsters and return here. Wait, okay. Go to the world of the Genju and return here again. So it calls it the world, Genju no Sekai, which gives it a feeling of it's like a own like cut off world maybe. All right. How does my dictionary go with Sekai? The world, the society, the universe. All right. So in Super NES, it uses the word land for Sekai. Because this is weird fantasy stuff, that's fine. I'm okay with that. World is fine too, I guess, if someone wanted to. J2E. Go to the land of the phantom beasts. That's what fans like to do, is phantom beasts for Genju, ... and return here, ... And then Naming Way says, visit the Fey March and return here. It's very clear from the Japanese what the Genju no Sekai is, just immediately. We've already encountered Genju before when Rydia did her thing, and we killed the Genju, the Mist Dragon, before. So Genju is what we went to go fight at the beginning of the game. And the fake king told us to go kill the Genju, but the real king now is saying go visit them, basically. So it's like there's a contrast happening here. But the important thing is that it's clear what's being said. In Naming Way, it says visit the Fey March. If you don't know what that even is, it doesn't make sense. I'm supposed to do what now? So I don't like that. I kind of wish it had given some more information about what the Fey March is. Fey March is how they started translating it in the 3DS version, maybe. And then from that, I think the PSP version picked up on that. All right. So basically, every translation seems to handle Genju differently, and then Genju no Sekai differently. If you're going to handle it differently, it will require different care. And doing just straight up Fey March like this, I would have liked more care. If you're going to give a special extra new word out of nowhere, you need to define it better. All right. Let's see. Okay, so the king continues. Omae no chikara ni nareru hazu ... The implication is they should surely be of help to you. They should be helpful to you ... Or like doing so should be helpful to you. Yeah, okay. So the implication could go a couple ways, but the way I see it is doing so should be of help to you. It's hard to say. Super NES says, I shall be of help. All right. I'll say that's fine. Not the act of going should be of help, but that he will be of help when you come back, I guess. There's a lot of ways we could take this, I guess. J2E doesn't have that part about any kind of help. Take off that. That sentence is just missing. Yeah, it was missing all along. And then naming way says, then I can be of aid. Okay. Technically, this then is not, this logical connection is not in the Japanese, but I'll say it's fine. And then to that, Cecil yells, Heika, Your Majesty. Super NES does not have that. J2E does, and naming way does not. All right. Okay, the king's ghost disappears. Where'd you go? I can't sit on this throne. There's got to be some secret way to sit on this throne, right? Someone find a way to sit on this throne. There's got to be a way. All right. Yeah, I'm goofing up today. My translation skills are goofing up today. I gotta get on the ball. Pokeball. Alright, I feel like I'm missing something, like there's another chest or something. Okay, so I think we're going to be done with Baron Castle finally. I just wiped out the full treasury of Baron. Baron is now like in the red. They can't pay their soldiers anymore. Dude, we have an airship. We could give that to the Baron guys right now. Alright. While we're here, I do want to look at... I don't want your tents. Okay, I'm going to throw this crap away. Throw that tent away. Okay. I want to look at... We'll look at that. And we'll look at... We're looking at some of Sid's equipment. He comes equipped with a kizuchi, which is like a wooden hammer, like a certain type of hammer. Like a wooden mallet, wooden hammer. And that became wooden icon in Super NES. It became mallet in J2E. Like the wood part is probably important to know because we're going to go to a magnetic cave where metal stuff will weigh us down and make us unable to fight. So knowing that it's wood is really good to know. Just mallet is not good. And then when they added more info, like 2 times damage versus machines and stuff, they didn't bother to put in the part that is made of wood at all. Okay, when J2E, I'm going to take off one there. The naming way has wood in. It's wrong. Also, it should be 4 times damage. Alright, you made a mistake. Please correct yourself. Then, where is it? Oh yeah. Then he also came equipped with the Shujin no Fuku. That's prisoner clothing. Shujin. You have to hold that "u" a little longer, or it becomes husband. So you gotta be careful. Hold the "u." Just think of a prisoner wailing. They're going "ooh." So prisoners will go Shujin. And for easy type, they took out that no for some reason, so it becomes Shujin Fuku. I don't understand why they would have done that. It became prisoner in Super NES. J2E, it's convict. I don't really know why it's convict, but okay. Because he hasn't been convicted of anything. He's a prisoner, not a convict. I'll take out. The naming way is prisoner. Yeah, Shujin. Prisoner. But yeah, that kanji is really cool. Just look at this kanji. I really like the Shujin kanji. You can see that a jin is person on the right there. That's how you write person. And then the shu part is a person with inside of a box, and they're imprisoned. So it's like imprisoned person. There you go. You can now get a tattoo. Shujin. Let me re-equip him. I'm gonna send him out naked. He was a prisoner. He's treated better as a prisoner. What better stuff? Oh, let's get him some stuff at a Baron. Alright, let's get some equipment for him. I don't know if this is the best equipment right now. I think we can get better later. I'm gonna give him... I mean, I like Sid's face when he does that. His weird beard opens up with the mouth is there. Okay, I think I already have those. I'm just gonna put them on him. Okay. As I recall, there's some weird stuff that Sid... His programming is weird and it has axe programming involved with his stuff, and I don't understand. Axes are weird in this game too, so I don't really know. Oh, I need to give him something else. Okay, let's get him that. Oh, he can't equip that. What can I do for his arms? Alright, since I can't use those, I'm gonna sell some stuff here. Okay. Flame rod. I'm doing my chores on here. Exciting shopping. Yeah, he can't equip that. Can't equip that. I can sell his prison garb for 35 gil. That's the big bucks. Okay, doing okay. I would like to organize a little better. We'll do that a different time. Yeah, hold out for the ruby rings. I do that too. Man, it's gonna be hard if I don't like level some people up, right? You think it'll be too hard to go through that cave? Maybe like chat can help, like you'll be my dojo, help me get through these things easier. I usually like to do a little bit of leveling after this point, but if you guys think I can do it without leveling and just kind of like get the right equipment, then that's fine. But I will want to look at the different enemies, now that I think about it. Okay, so the next stop is going to be Mist. And I really like visiting Mist again in this game. It's just fun. And oh, I just squished everyone in town. Okay. Silver rings for Yang and Tella, but I don't think... Okay, yeah, we got those. And silver gauntlets for Sid and Cecil are best, but I couldn't get him to do the silver gauntlets on Sid. For some reason, it wasn't letting me buy those. Yeah, okay. Okay, lean on Tella's bio and MP draining when he needs it. Okay. I wish I could buy ethers in this game at this point. Okay, now I'm in Mist. Recall that this is the town that Cecil blew up and destroyed with fire. The bomb ring. We walked here and a bomb ring killed everyone. And that's where we met Rydia. Now it's happy again. Let's talk. Oh, they're leaving town. They don't like Cecil. They know that. He's back. He's back. And yeah, you can see where they're not allowed to move anymore. Okay. Alright, so this dude in Mist says, Baro no chika ni wa ichigeki hisatsu no genju no tamashi ga nemutteru toyu uwasa da. Alright, so there is a rumor that underground or beneath Baron, in the ground beneath Baron, there rests a spirit, or I mean a soul of a Genju that has a one-hit kill attack. And so that's basically pointing to the King of Baron. And later on, when we do what he requested of us, we'll get the Genju, the summoned monster, Odin. That's what this is hinting at. It's a good hint. It's a good game hint. Like, if you were playing a game for the very first time, you might want to like jot this down as a note. These little scattered notes about going underneath there. Alright. So it says it does a single attack, surefire kill attack. And it's the spirit, or yeah, the soul. I say spirit, but Tamashi is soul or spirit. There's a difference sometimes. It's hard to say. If you're curious, if you've heard of Katamari Damashi, that's what this is Tamashi. The D comes from, like, because it's part of a compound word. So Katamari is like a clump, and Tamashi is soul or spirit. Alright, so that's all that was saying in that guy. Supernia says, I hear that the soul of Odin is sleeping under Baron. So that's just like cutting through the tips I was just telling you about. The fun gameplay mechanic of like writing down notes to piece things together. It just straight up says Odin is sleeping under there. It takes away the surprise. What a jerk. Supernia's. Also, the fact that it is like a single blast attack. Would have liked that. Okay, J2E. There's a rumor of a phantom beast dwelling under Baron. Wrong, it is a spirit or soul. Okay, J2E. His sword is said to kill his enemies with one strike. So it's unraveling, it's unwrapping the Ichigeki Hisatsu. Like single hit. Hisatsu is a certain kill. Literally means certain kill, surefire kill. But it has Hisatsu can just mean like a special attack sometimes. Like your special move that you would have in a fighting game. So it has like a single blow special attack. It spells things out here with a sword, but that's fine. I'm okay with that. This used to say, there's a rumor of a phantom beast dwelling under Baron that uses a technique that kills in one strike. So that used to be closer. Because it didn't mention sword, but it doesn't matter. It took off the point already. Naming Way says, I hear the soul. Well, yeah. Yeah, so the soul part is important. I hear the soul of an Eidolon rests under Baron, but the part of it doing a special attack is missing. So there we go. Second guy who's trying to escape me says, Misto no Shokanshi no Rekishi mo koremade ka. So is this the end of the history of mist summoners? ... Supernia says, the history of mist callers may be over now. I could pick that apart with some stuff. I won't get in that deep. I'll say it's fine. J2E is a little closer, so this is the end of the history of mist summoners. Yeah, that's the feeling. Naming Way also says this may be the end of the summoners of mist. Alright, I'll say it's fine. Alright, now we're gonna find, who can we find to scare? Well, here's this guy. Here's a blonde male guy over here. Okay, we have an easy type change. So let's look at the Japanese text first. Gein fume no o kaji de onna kodomo ya terare no shoukanshi wa mina shinde shimatta. So, as a result of the great fire of mysterious or unknown cause, the women and children and such, along with very skilled summoners, they all died. Okay, I kind of could phrase that all better, but basically there's an unknown great fire of unknown origin. It caused the women and children and the likes of like proficient caller summoners to all die. So the important phrase here is starting with the onna kodomo. It's like the first thing. It's like the women and children. So the women and children are the first thing that are mentioned who have all died, along with this proficient summoners. I'm bringing this up for a reason, but we'll get to it in a second. Alright, so Tedare is kind of a fancy phrase in Japanese. Let me bring it up. Tedare. Skill, dexterity, master hand. That became Chikara no Aru, so that means like skilled or proficient summoners became summoners with power, like powerful summoners. They died. Right. So that's the change there. Super NES. Women, children, and highly trained callers were all lost by the unknown fire. So lost is how they got around the word died. It's actually pretty okay. I'm okay with using lost here instead of died. Shinde shimata is shinu. Shinu is to die. Okay, Super NES, quite good here. You're quite proficient translator here. J2E reverses orders on things. So not only did that mysterious fire kill powerful summoners, but innocent women and children as well. It's weird that powerful is here. Are they pulling from the easy type script for some reason? That's weird. But they put like with their altered grammar in J2E, they have put the emphasis first that the powerful summoners died, and also the innocent women, children too. So the emphasis is wrong on this. I don't like that on J2E, so take off that point. Naming way. Women, children, highly trained summoners, ... all lost in that tragic fire. I would have liked Genin Fume is cause unknown. So I would like that to have had in there. Rather than tragic, like it was a big fire, I would also like big in there. Also I would have liked J2E to have big fire. And I would have liked the Super NES to have big, like O Kaji. Big fire. See, you can see the kanji for big in there. I would have liked that detail in there, but I'll say it's okay. I won't get too crazy big on that. Alright. Okay, there's one other guy walking around out here. An older mage with a beard. He's old, so he uses washi in Japanese. Washi da shoukanshi ga yobidasu genju wa genkai kara arawareru. So the genju, the summoned beasts that we summoners summon, appear here from the genkai, and genkai is where the genju live. Like the genju no sekai becomes genkai. So basically, the summoned monster world or summoned monster realm is how you could translate that maybe. Genkai. It's very short, just very short word in Japanese, but it's just so wordy in English, saying summoned monster realm, summoned monster world, that it gets clunky and people handle it differently. Okay. Let me read the next part. Genkai wa chite fukaku ni sonzai suru rashinja. The Genkai supposedly exists deep underground, deep at the bottom of the earth, kind of feeling. So he doesn't know, but it's just apparently this is the case. All of that gets condensed in Super NES 2. The monsters we call appear from another plane deep under the ground. It doesn't give this place a name, the Genkai. It doesn't give it a name. I would have liked that. It's like a proper noun. It's like a fantasy word that has been introduced. I would have liked that bit of lore. Right. I think that's fine then. J2E. We summoners have the ability to conjure monsters. We summoners have the ability to conjure monsters from the phantom world. ... So they go with Phantom World. A plane that supposedly exists deep under the surface of the earth. Okay, so they go with plane again. It looks like they're pulling from Super NES for plane. Because there isn't a plane. The word plane does not exist anywhere in Super Famicom there. Alright, I can pick that apart, I won't. Naming way. The Eidolons we call come from another plane deep underground. I would have liked the Genkai word to be introduced here. There's something I need. What am I missing here? Okay, I guess I didn't provide a thing yet. There's something about this on my site that was interesting. Okay. We're in the armor shop. And then we have the barred clothes. I don't know if that's any good even. Okay, now we're in the weapon shop. Anything good in here? We have a whip and a dancing dagger. Dancing dagger was called in the easy type Odoru Tanken. Yeah, so the dancing small sword. Tanken is like just a dagger, is what we maybe call. Yeah. It's also what you call the hour hand of a clock, the Tanken little sword. Is how that goes, or short sword. So the dancing short sword. The Japanese words for that. Alright. Get out of my way, guy. Oh yeah, there's chests in here. I need to get those chests. We'll get those in a second. We have the inn in here. Anything? Here's Naming Way. Naming Way has no idea that ROM hackers are going to use his name later in the future. Naming Way. Did you know? People use your name later. They take credit. I'm sure. Let's just take a nap here. Yeah, are those actually useful? For some reason, I do like to use the dancing dagger for something. I think I'd like to give it to someone at some point for one reason. Not to throw it, but for some other reason. Oh, so dancing dagger casts dagger when used like an item. It's crazy strong if you can trick the game into letting you buy it near the beginning of the game. But it's just a gimmick weapon by this point in the game. Understood. Okay, now we're going into this weird room, this weird building up here. It looks empty. There must be nothing in this room. Let's sleep in this room. You can't even get into this bed. Who did this layout? Who did this building layout? They need some architects. They need to summon an architect. Alright, so we got some secret chests. In this chest is the Kin no Kamikazari. This is the gold, like, hair ornament. Whatever we would call that. Kamikazari. Hair ornament is how, yeah. Literally means hair ornament. You can translate that in a couple ways. This became the tiara, it looks like. In Super NES, the gold band in J2E. And the gold pin in Naming Way? I'm confused. What the heck? Alright, that's pretty weird. So the gold hairpin is one of the best headpieces for Rydia. It's the same as the one in FF6, right? Anyway, it's called the gold hair or decoration, ornament, whatever. And it's good against thunder. Can anyone even equip it? I doubt Sid can equip that. Trying to see. Okay, no one can equip it because we're all a bunch of old dudes. We have clothing in this one. What a downgrade. We have a ruby ring in this one, and we want ruby rings at this point. Let me give that to Sid. He sure does need one. Those have some good, like, magic defense, and they keep you from turning into a pig, I think. Only girls can put stuff in their hair. And here's this extra secret. You thought there was a secret, but there's more secrets. How underground are we at this point? Are we even underground? Is this somehow going into like a portal dimension? And in this one we have the Henge no Dodo. And that means like the transformation rod. And I have no like basis, I have no like proof, evidence, or anything of this yet. Maybe in like 20-30 years I'll start talking about this better, but I swear that henge is like to transform. Henge is what that means. If you take off this k sound, notice this, and change the hange in there. It seems like a coincidence, but I keep encountering coincidences like this between English and Japanese when I like dig deeper into it. Anyway, I won't talk much about that because I'll become a crazy person if I do. Anyway, this transforms things. J2E calls it the apparition rod, I guess, and the naming way calls it the change rod, matching the Super NES. It's called polymorph rod in modern. Alright. No one can use that, but let's look at it. What was it in J2E? Apparite? Apparite, it used to be called. Let me move this from the spot. Ooh, elixir. I need to put an elixir in here. Oh, is this where it finally is going to happen? Okay, I'll sell some of that stuff. Keep that. Sell that. And I'll move this down here. I don't even know if I need the ancient sword. I guess for throwing. I like that it lets you use your junk weapons like that for throwing. +5 int. It's probably not magnetic. It might be good for Tella. Nice. Okay. I mean, it raises offense at least. Alright. I seem to recall it might do something in battle. Alright. Really like that this game has so many little secrets like this. It's exciting. Alright. Now we can get some of the chests in here. I think they're just bomb fragments and they're not very helpful, but we need to pick up the mess that Cecil left. So we found a bomb fragment, another bomb fragment. If we let them sit there, they'll grow into new bombs. Can't let that happen. It'll be a repeat of it all over. And that's how the after years will happen. I'm preventing the after years, you guys. Oh, no, I'm leaving. Okay. So I think I got everything there. Oh yeah, I'm going faster rate than I was expecting. Okay. Next, I was going to go to the Silvera Mythril place. Over here. So this is south of Fabo. That's how I always remember it. Oh yeah, let's just go in here while we're... There's this little chocobo forest I always forget is here. We got the vegetable. Oh yeah, let's just use this guy. So I've talked about this chocobo before, I think on day 2. And I didn't program anything for this menu. This menu is annoying, so I didn't bother. Alright, what can I stick in here? I don't need to sell anything anymore, right? I'm not gonna see her for a while. Any of this junk items in here? Unicorn horn is good. All good, okay. So in Japanese, he's going, yo, nanka yo kai. He's saying like, yo, you need something. Sometimes I feel like him, but I don't want people to put weapons inside of my mouth. Alright, there we go. Yeah, there was one translation, I think it's the PlayStation 1 translation where he's going like heave. He's going like heave, heave, huff, huff. I don't know. It sounds like he's... something weird's happening with him. Oh yeah, I don't want to be oops all mages. Oh yeah. Now that I have fighters, I always put him there, and I always put like this. This is generally how I do it. But now that I know the mechanics better, I think there's certain slots that get priority over others, right? Like their ATB might go faster or something like that. So maybe I could do a better arrangement here, I don't know. But this is sort of how I always do it. No, you know, I think I put Tella up here. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I like these islands. That's fun. Okay. Now we're gonna go. Okay, now we're 38 hours in. Let me do a save state so that I don't lose this progress. Alright. So we're gonna go into this isolated town that I don't think we even ever have to go to. And it's full of like pigs and frogs and little people. It's an unusual place. Let's go in. We're gonna be here a while. So this town is called in Japanese Misuriru. Blah. Let me get some water. Okay. Misuriru no Machi. So the town of Mythril. And the deal with this is it became Silvera in Super NES for some reason. In J2E, it became Mythril Town, spelled with Mithril. In naming way, it's just Mythril, Mithril. So why did it become Silvera? And there's a reason for it, and I have to bring it up. So Mythril, I think, was a fantasy term invented by Tolkien back in the day, right? Like a long time ago. So it's like, I think it was technically a trademarked or copyrighted or just it was someone else's IP. But it's like such a strong fantasy vibe term that people just use it without caring. But lawyers care, so this got changed in the original Final Fantasy 1. They changed the Mythril. Everything that was Mythril in Final Fantasy 1 became silver instead. And on the screen I'm showing Final Fantasy 1, how the Mythril sword becomes a silver sword. And then the Mythril hammer becomes the silver hammer, and the Mythril knife becomes the silver knife. I guess that's a knife, yeah. So there's a precedence to this change already. So in Final Fantasy 2, they kept this change. So anytime Mythril gets mentioned, they change it to silver. And that's fine and all, I guess. It's kind of weird, but I'm gonna have to do this a bit because there's some notes I can show in this town. But that means that like all of these silver items that get sold in this town, or the Mythril items that get sold in this town, become silver items. And as I recall, the Mythril items are metallic. And so when we go to the metallic cave, they weigh you down, right? That makes sense. But when they change it to silver, silver is like almost like very, very, very faintly magnetic, like almost not magnetic at all. So there's like an actual physical property change. By changing it to silver, you kind of broke that logical connection. Most people will never care. But if you're a fantasy dude, if you're one of those fantasy guys, I'm thinking of like in The Simpsons, like at the comic book guy store, and the nerds like asking Homer questions about stuff, and the nerds are just like really super nerdy. Like if you're that level of a nerd, they'll be like, silver ain't metallic. Yeah, so in this game, silver still is just magnetic, but technically it shouldn't be. So Nintendo's lawyers, or whoever's lawyers, or whoever made this change, you were not a metallurgy guy. Alright, let's continue. I'm now talking to a frog. This frog in Japanese says, Misuriru no yama wa haruka kita. So, Mythril Mountain is far to the north. Period. In Super NES, this becomes the silver mine is farther north. So yeah, so we see the silver change. You know what? I'm gonna change it every time Mythril changes to silver. No, I don't want to have to do that every time. That's too many. Every time we see Mythril, I'm gonna have to do it. I'll just do it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the equivalent of a pop culture reference. In this case, it got removed. A pop culture reference. The Super NES. Alright. I think that's reasonable. Alright. The silver mine is farther north. So it's technically mountain, not mine. I'll take off. Well, I already took off a bunch of points. I'll just say that's part of the package deal. Alright. J2E. I've come a long way from the Mythril Mountain to the north. Alright. So this is a mistake. And this is a simple, like, Japanese 101 mistake here. Kita means north, but kita can also mean the past tense of to come. And it doesn't, like, if you actually know Japanese, it's clear what is clearly saying north here, because haruka means like far off. And usually you put that before like a direction maybe. Like you can say far south, far to the south, you would say haruka minami. Something like that. So whoever was translating this wasn't familiar enough with Japanese to know. So they used, so the past tense come suddenly appears in the J2E translation, and that's the mistranslation. If I gave off 2, oh well. But it's still saying that Mythril Mountain is to the north, so that's still in there. So it kind of like they just went with both options. They didn't know which one it was, so they did both. Oh, looks like they added to the north. So someone came in and put that in there. So someone must have seen it, the north part. That's interesting. But they didn't take that part out. Alright. Next, Mythril naming way. The Mythril mines far north. Again, I would have liked that to be mountain. Because the deal is that for them, a mountain is like not a mountain really for us. Alright. What did you have there? Okay, yeah, we already got that. Okay, next part. We got here. Antara no ashi nara attoyuma demo bokura ni wa nagatabi nanda yo. So, for your guys' legs, it's probably just like you can get there in no time flat. But for us, it's a long trip. So it's like saying, for you it's short, for us it's long. So there's a contrasting happening here. It's kind of part of the joke. Super NES says, not a long walk for your legs. And then no more. So that second part of like kind of that fun, I wouldn't call it a joke, but that humor is missing. And so I took off, wait, Super NES misses that. Okay. J2E. Even though you could get there in a minute with your long legs, it's a long journey for us. Okay, good. Naming way. Not a long walk for your long legs. They just added long. Long isn't technically in there, but take off that naming way. Naming way in the game would be sad. Not a long walk for your long legs. Long range, okay. Okay, here's this little guy. We're gonna talk to this little guy. Alright. Kimi wa ningen da ne. So he's saying Kimi, specifically speaking to Cecil here. The frog earlier was talking to everyone. This little guy is saying Kimi. Kind of like nice and familiar sounding. Although the next line is weird, but okay. Kimi wa ningen da ne. You're a human. You're a human, aren't I? See? Something like that. Fumitsugu-san yo kiotsukete kuretamae. So he's using very like suddenly loftier speech style. Very funny speaking style between these two lines. So please do take care to not stomp on us. How that kind of goes. So like kind of long-winded, funny way of saying all that. All this part is standard. Okay. Super NES, this becomes, hey human, don't step on us, okay? Okay, I'll say that's fine. The fun of it is missing, but like the point of it is there. J2E. You're a human, aren't you? Please be careful not to step on anyone. I would have liked a little bit odder phrasing on there, but it's fine. Naming way. Hey, human, don't step on us, okay? With a different okay. I'll say it's fine. Anything else around here? Anyone walking over here? Oh, I found a secret frog. Oh man, usually I see this guy way over on the other corner of town. Okay. So this frog is saying Son dake oki to shokuhi mo taihen daro. So being as big as you are, your food costs must be tough. Must be rough, huh? Yappa, ari no steak toka taberu no kai? Oh, I really like the way these guys speak. So, being as big as you are, your food costs must be crazy. And you guys must eat ant steaks and stuff, huh? Like, I guess you guys eat ant steaks and stuff, huh? So the joke is that, like, he's so little that his food is ant steaks. But that's not what we do, because we're big. Right, so Super NES. It would cost much to feed your huge stomach. And the word stomach isn't technically in there in Japanese, but it's implied. That's kind of the joke. Being as big as you are. How about some ant steak? Well, I'm suddenly confused. Is this an invitation? I don't think it is. I don't think it's an invitation. I think it's saying like, oh, is that what you guys eat? Like it's not, like I feel like it's an invitation in all versions, or these two versions. For now, I'll take that point off, and then if I'm wrong, I'll take off points on me in real life. Alright. So, J2E. You must need a lot of food to fill your huge stomachs. How about some ant steak? No? Grasshopper pie, then? Okay. So that grasshopper pie stuff was added in. While we're at it, I'll show you that grasshopper pie is an actual thing. And here's grasshopper pie. It's just like a mint and cookie pie. That's the name of it. I assume that we had this back in the 90s, right? I don't remember. I didn't eat this richly back in the day. Grasshopper pie. It feels like it's a regional thing, maybe. But that's just a joke that they added and then they got marked off on. Let me make this big again. Alright. So, this grasshopper pie. No grasshopper pie then? That's too... Man, yeah, now I want some myself. That invitation I don't like, so I'll take off that one. Naming way. How much ant steak would it take to fill your belly? I would have liked the... Okay, yeah, I really like the idea that is worried about our food expenses. That's the concern. You guys must have a crazy food budget, is how that feels. And so Super NES says it must cost much. J2E doesn't worry about the cost stuff, so I'll take off a point. Naming way, there's no cost joke in there. But it gets I feel like it gets the ant steak thing in there, right? If this is pulling from like a 3DS version or PSP version or something, I would like to know that, because I feel this is closer to what's being said than like the invitation to eat some ant steak. Yeah, isn't there something weird in here? Is this naming way in here or something? These weird little houses or whatever those are. Alright. Well, these guys are just... I can't tell the difference between them. Okay, here we found the Misrilu no Tsue. So that's the Mythril staff or cane. That became the silver staff or cane or whatever. It is kind of a fun troll that they will give you access to this, and then immediately after you have to go to the magnetic cave. Oh boy, we'll see some crazy stuff there in a second. Let me talk to this pig. Okay. This pig is saying Bokura ga Misrilu gin o totte kite カエルくんが生成して、小人くんが加工するんだ。So we extract the mithril silver. The kaeru kun, the froggies, process it. Oh wait, say, right? Crap. Say. Let me bring up my backup. Say it can go a couple ways, so I want to see. Mithril town. Let me look. Okay. Yeah, refine it. Okay. Yeah, refine. So process and refine. I don't know ore stuff, so I had to look that up. Alright. That makes sense. Say. Let me look at that again. It's probably in there. No, it's not in there. Okay. Anyway, it's saying we, and I guess we means the pigs, we extract the mithril silver, the froggies refine it, and the kobito-kun, the little guys, I don't know, we can come up with a word for kobito-kun, little people, process it, is how that goes. So we're learning the process of their, I don't know, economy and their industry. See, this is the stuff that we learn in school, and school's reports are boring, but video game ones are better. I remember doing like an article on some country in Africa when I was like 10. I had no idea what the heck a textile was, but I just put, they do textiles. But this stuff is more interesting to me. So we mine silver ores. Toads refine and small folks process. J2E has some weird stuff here. Okay. We mine the mithril ore. So the silver becomes ore. That's fine. Then the frogs refine it. And the little people forge it. I guess cockle could be forged? I don't think so though. Process, treat, manufacture. We'll just say it's okay because I'm not a blacksmith. Naming way says, we mine mithril. Toads refine it. Minis process it. And pigs sell it? What? If this is coming from like a 3DS version or something, this is pretty weird. Weird. Okay. But we'll get to that part in a second. Alright. So at first I like the fact that none of them kind of like do the same thing. The Kaeru-kun, the frog-kun, so you can translate that in many ways. This is where localization would come in, and this is the fun part. You have to be creative. Kaeru-kun kind of gives a nice, fun, familiar tone. So frogs or toads, but usually like I called it froggies, toadies. Toadies has a negative connotation, so I probably wouldn't do toadies, but something like that. So they just use toads in Super NES. They call them frogs without a capital F in J2E, so they're not even like their own race in J2E. Take out that J2E. Let the frogs have representation. Alright, and then little people is capital L, capital P, so they're represented. That's how they go with Kobito-kun. Kobito-kun means Kobito is like a literally small person. You could translate it as like child, small person, dwarf, something like that. So we see that it becomes small folks, capital S, capital F in Super NES. That's neat to see. In J2E, Kobito-kun becomes little people, capital L, capital P. And then in naming way, toads, they're called toads, and then the little guys are called minis without the capital M. Although this toads. So this toad and this toad might be caps just because they start the sentence. But I can't see outside of the universe, so I can't comment further on that. But I can see that the minis is what they call them. I like the word minis, that's kind of fun and cute, but it's lowercase. I would have liked something better than that. But whatever. Alright, continuing. The pig says, Ningen yo no buki nanka mo tsukuteru yo. So we make things like weapons and stuff for human use too. Like we even make weapons and stuff for humans too. So Super NES says, we make weapons for human use. That's fine. J2E, we even make weapons that you humans can use. Okay, that's good. Humans used to be capitalized. Oh, that's kind of fun. Alright. So in naming way, going back to it, we mine Mythril, toads refine it, minis process it, and pigs sell it. So the part about humans is all gone. And by saying we here, this should be talking about the pigs to begin with, so I don't know why we're doing pigs in there already. So a double mistake on that. Yeah. In the Japanese, this part about like making things that we, like it's weird to not have a pronoun in English here. If you don't put a pronoun in there, it gets really weird. So we/I or whatever, like pronouns even make weapons and such for human use, is how that goes. And you have to fill in pronoun in English. English has its own weird requirements. And I think this is where this mistake comes from. Darn you, English. I blame England. I blame the King of England of like 1100. I'm glad I don't have to learn all those kings and stuff. Okay, I gotta double check to make sure I've gotten everyone because there's a bunch of weird... Everyone just runs around real fast in this town. For being so little, they run so fast. Oh yeah, okay, I missed this one. I'm talking to a little person who goes, Deke. That means huge. Like, you're huge. Antara moshikashite kyojin ka? And it's like, do you guys happen to be giants? Is that what you guys are, giants? And Super NES becomes, gee, you're big. Are you giants? Kind of like that phrasing. It's different, but I like it. J2E, whoa, you're huge. Are you guys giants? Okay. Naming way, hoity-toity. Are you all giants? The point is that it's talking about how big we are. Like that first phrase. Dekai, oh, it won't show up on here. I think I have to point on naming way. Where does that come from? Was that from the 3DS, PSP? Okay, I think that covers all of those guys. There's gonna be some fun stuff in the end. There is like a naming way in here or something, right? One of these is something. Let me get... Oh no, get out of there. Okay, I found a Mythril knife in the Japanese version here. It became a silver knife in the Mythril and the Mythril. So you can find a bunch of these things for free. They're not very good with their security. You found 5,000 gil here. Boy, they don't know. I'm supposed to be like a warrior of light, but I'm just taking all their stuff. Alright. So there's a couple rooms. Let's start. Okay, we'll do the dance. We'll do the dance. So at the armor and weapon shop outside of it, there's a pig, a small person, and a frog, and they were just waiting for me to talk to them. And these will start the dance routine if I talk to the pig, I think. So I'll talk to the little person first, and it says baby, and that means like baby. It's like the English word baby. Like they're trying to be hip because these are dancers. It sounds awkward if we just say baby. But that's what that is. Baby. So Super NES just says, hey. J2E says, yeah, baby, yeah. And I'm pretty sure that's an Austin Powers reference. I'm sure that's an Austin Powers reference, so... 1, 2, 3, 4... Oh, 1, 2, 3... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I almost cost SNES some points there. Alright. And it used to say that too, just with a different capitalization on baby. If they had phrased it differently, if they hadn't done like a pure quote, like I have it here, let me just play it. Here's the phrase. Let me find it. So that's the Austin Powers quote. Sorry you had to hear that. Alright. And then Naming Way says hey. I mean, like, I don't expect them to put baby in there, but put something. Hey is alright. It's like just filler text. And this one, this frog goes yeah, yeah. It looks like it's saying yeah, like no, yeah. No, he's saying yeah, but in hiragana, just the way that the other guy was saying in hiragana, it feels funny and weird. He's saying yeah. So Super NES says yeah. J2E says can you dig it? And I'm not familiar enough with pop culture. Is this a reference from the late 90s? Can you dig it? Is that from Austin Powers? Is that from like Backstreet Boys? Let me know. If it is, we will do a punishment. Naming Way says yeah. Alright, when I talk to the pig, the dance will begin. We will begin dance now. Okay, the pig does a twirl and says Ikashita dansu miseru ze. So kind of like a cool like hip hoppy feeling a little bit. Yeah, this definitely wouldn't have been a 2003 song reference. People are saying Shaq, Booker T, wrestling. Booker T's pro wrestling catchphrase. Yeah, okay. So this means like we're gonna show you a kick-ass dance. We're gonna show you the sweet dance. We're gonna show you this cool dance. Ikashita is to be smart, to be cool, to be sharp, to be stylish. So we're gonna show you the stylish dance, but it's kind of like this ze also kind of gives a strong vibe. So it feels like a hip hop dancer feeling. Just maybe not hip hop, but something of that style. Like a pop something, okay. And then the pig goes on to say, "Come on, brother," in hiragana, which is unusual. So all three of them use hiragana in a funny way in Japanese, and that just gets lost in translation no matter what. So saying "come on, brother," that means "come on, brother," but it could mean brothers too, because Japanese has different plural, singular thing. So "come on, brothers." Alright, so Super NES, that all becomes, "we'll show you a great dance. Come on, brothers." So that's like a pretty good literal translation here. Maybe you could pump it up some more with change great to like hip, something, hip, hot. "We'll show you a hot dance," something like that. J2E, "We're the Mythril boys. Come on, everybody, rock your body." I'm not going to play that song. I don't want to get in trouble. Here's what it used to say. In the original J2E patch, it used to say, "We'll show you the hottest steps this side of Toroya. Break it down, brothers." That's pretty good. It doesn't need the Toroya mention, but it's good. I liked it. So this is a Backstreet Brothers Boys reference. Oh no. By my rules, there's going to be 15 points off on this one. Alright. Everyone, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. When did that song come out anyway? It was not even like a contemporary to the time. Alright. And Naming Way says, "We'll show you a great dance. Come on, broskies." Broskies is so weird. I don't think they would have used a phrase like that back in the day, but it's okay. I don't think this is a reference to anything. And it does a good job of conveying the weirdness of the hiragana of the original. I kind of like that. Oh, by the way, J2E hit under 300 on that. So J2E, for doing what you've been doing, you deserve this. Where this thing's slow. All right. Yeah, back in the day, I meant like Galileo's time. I'm joking. Oh, pose home. All right. So here we go. We're gonna do this dance, everyone. Choose your favorite boy band and dance along if you can. Also, I challenge you, if you're watching this on YouTube or even on Twitch, come up with your own nonsense for this. Like J2E is going crazy with this, so I invite you to go crazy with this too. Come up with the worst pop culture references. Put them in here now, unless J2E has already like won the battle. Okay, the pig dances. They're all set. They're all in line. They're all in sync, and they say, "We are Misuriru brothers. We are the Mythril brothers." All right, and then they say, "Letsu dansu" in hiragana. So they speak in such an interesting way. Okay, in Super NES that becomes we're Silvera brothers. Let's dance. Okay, good job. J2E, rock your body right. Mithril's back all right. Okay, by my rules, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What was this before? I used to say, "Come on, Mythril brothers, let's dance." I used to say it right. It used to be correct, you guys. I think naming way might get marked off. Naming way says, "We're the Mythril bros. Everybody dance now." So I want the chat to chime in. Should that mark off? Should naming way get marked off for everybody dance now? Okay, people are saying mostly yes. All right, by my rules, yes. Naming way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everyone is just falling apart here. Don't throw cultural references if they're not legit. Unless I'm totally wrong and these are like SMAP lyrics or Hikaru Genji lyrics or something like that from back in the day in Japan. I don't think that's the case though. Someone call up Sakaguchi and also someone call Miyamoto. We'll find out. Too legit to quit. I love that era of MC Hammer. I still, every once in a while, I get that Addams Family song in my head. Addams Family. A terrible thing happened here today. Everyone's score just fell. And then the pig says, "Thank you," and it's like "thank you," but in a different non-standard way of saying it. But everyone says "thank you" standardly. That's fine. At least there's nothing crazy in J2E. Hey J2E, you did good. You didn't mess that one up. Yeah, to be free of this, please post your joke comments on YouTube for this dance scene. Just insert any pop culture references. If we're gonna do it, then J2E has paved the way. We're gonna celebrate the wackiness. All right. Now I want to go down. Oh wait, I don't think there's anything in here. All right. I'm in the item shop. How many of those do I even have? I got a lot of those. Uchidone, Kozuchi. I think I need a lot of the things like here mini. Oh, where is it? Yeah, I need one of those. And then I need the diet food. Let me see diet food. Am I low on diet food? Yes, okay. I'm gonna just buy a bunch of these. And I have to stack them on because it's a dumb-ass game. Dumb butt game. Although this system they invented is a good reason why it's so buggy, and then... How did this game get so buggy but the Nomura got promoted so high? Nomura-san, I should say. I shouldn't be mean like that. I recognize his talent, but it's not in my direction. Alright. Yeah, it says dummy if the item was taken out, so the item just doesn't exist. Although if you use the special Game Genie code, the Gunslinger code, you can still use it. Alright, so there's 3 people in the inn, and plus the innkeeper. Wait, isn't there something in here? Nope. Okay, so Naming Way's in here. We won't talk to Naming Way. We have 2 little people at the desk. And as I recall, some crazy stuff happens here, and you guys might need to provide pop culture reference material, maybe? I'm not sure. Alright, so we're talking to one of the little people here. They're so little, their sprite is so little that we can't really see them well. Okay, and there's also an easy type change. Okay, so Cecil, or not Cecil, the little person says, it's a girl, Watashi ga mura ichiban no kiryo yoshi. So like I'm the most beautiful, like I have the best looks in the whole village, is what that means. Kiryo yoshi. Yeah, I have like the best features, the looks, personal beauty. Chichakute wakaranai. Am I too teeny that you can't tell? Yo kume o korashite mite yo. Take a real close look. That's how that goes. In the Super Famicom, this became that first sentence, the Mura Ichiban no Kiryo Yoshi. It's kind of a fancy phrasing. It's a little, even I had to kind of point at it to show people. If that became Watashi ga Misuriru yo. So I am Miss Mithril. And then they added a space down here. So, Miss Mithril. Kind of like that joke better. That kind of lands better. It feels almost a little bit like Mother 1, Earthbound, Mother 2 feeling. Super NES. So the whole joke here is that like, I have the best looks, but boy, you sure can't see it, can you? Because I'm so tiny. That's the sort of the joke. Super NES just says, I am the cutest girl in this town. These last 2 sentences are missing, so I'll take off 2 points on Super NES. J2E. I'm the most beautiful girl in town. Okay, that's fine. I'm too small for you to see? Look really closely. Okay, that's good. I kind of like that. It does everything pretty well here. Would have said village instead of town, but that's fine. I'm actually going to give J2E a point, because I really like that. For this Yoku, they even did really closely. And then that is good. So J2E gets a point. Used to say village. Yeah, this used to be a little better. But that's fine. Naming Way just says, I'm the prettiest girl in town. So those last 2. Right. Hello, Squimmed Hominid. Thanks for coming by. Alright. Right. So that's like the cute girl of the town, right? And so this other little person is going to comment on this little girl. I think this is the father. You can see J2E is already going crazy, but let me read it in Japanese first. Biji no musume o motsu to nanika to kuro ga taimasen wa. That wa is not the feminine particle, by the way. So he's saying, he's like, oof, having a beautiful daughter, when you have a beautiful daughter, it brings so much troubles. That's kind of how it feels like. It's such a big hassle having such a beautiful daughter, something like that. He's kind of just complaining that it causes all kinds of difficulties for him. Super NES. Did you see my daughter? Oh, by the way, he's speaking in like kind of a certain way in Japanese. I don't want to try to figure out how to explain it. Super NES just says, did you see my daughter? And that's I would say that's off. J2E gets pretty close here. And let me tell you, having a beautiful daughter ain't nothing but trouble. Yes, that's pretty good actually. However, J2E continues. Gotta get me a shotgun to keep all them tiny boys off of her. Alright. Is that a reference to anything, you guys? Shotguns to keep boys off of you? Alright. This used to be something quite different. Geez, if you've got a beautiful daughter, it's nothing but trouble, is what that used to say. And that was actually a really good translation. I would have preferred that. Also, for breaking, there are no guns, much less shotguns in this world. What in the world are you thinking, J2E? For that jerkiness, I'm taking that off. 2 points off. I don't think it's anything specific either. I'm not that well versed in that kind of stuff. Naming way. Do you want to marry my daughter too? That's wrong. Yeah, I just feel like a stereotypical overprotective dad. Okay. So that's that. We might be done with this place. I'm not sure. But let's go into the armor place. Alright. I think I was here. Yeah, so we have all these Mythril items. Should I get them? Should I get these, chat? Yeah, they could have just said hold them off with a stick or something. Has to be a shotgun. Yeah, we're going to the metal cave, but like I can just still buy it now. Well, actually, this Mythril shield became Mythril no Tate, Misuril no Tate. So they just use the Japanese word for shield for the easy type. And then I guess shield is not a good word. I guess they just assumed that early youngsters wouldn't know the word shirudo, shield, so they do use the Japanese word. And ama became yoroi, probably, yes. And kote is fine, because it's already Japanese. Right. It's useful for Tower of Zot. I'm just gonna buy them, and if I have them handy, that's nice. Like, I figure what I'm gonna do is like look around Troya and look at some of those enemies first, unless I've already seen them all. I might have already seen them all. So it'll be nice to have that. Actually, it will also give me a chance to show off that I have to change my equipment. Like for non-gamers who don't know this game, I'll show them. It'll show them that like I'm doing this for the purposes of the cave. And then watch me just forget, and then I'm gonna like die. Although there's a bunch of Japanese walkthroughs and tricks that I've read about how you can just get around the magnetic nonsense. Oh my god, get out of there, frog. Get out of there, frog. No, we're not going to Castle Eblon right now. I prefer to do that after I come back with Rydia. It's always kind of just how I always like to do it. Okay, I'm gonna put stuff on Sid too. And I'll have to remember. I'm pretty sure I'll remember. And if I don't, then the story will remind me. I'll just leave the ruby ring on there. Throw this over here. So in the Pixel Remaster, arrows don't run out. Oh. Okay, now we're in our weapon shop. Mythril staff, Mythril knife, Mythril hammer. I'll get that for now. And Mythril sword, I'll get that, but I don't know if it's even that good. Oh, it's pretty good. Is that probably going to be Oh, in the easy type. Okay, so the Mythril sword became the Kobuta no Shinai. I was talking about this is the Piggy sword. That's exclusive to the easy type. So to make the piggy sword, they cannibalized the Mythril sword item. Yeah, I think I remember covering that on my site. Okay, let me close out of that. Boop. All right. Anything else here? And then let's give him the Mythril hammer. That became silver in Super NES and Mythril and J2E. I don't even remember which one is the proper spelling of Mythril anymore. In Japanese, it's the same. Alright, so now I have this, now that I put this Mythril equipment on, in the back of my head, I have this like caution warning flashing in the back of my head. It sounds like this. So as I walk around, I'm always going to have this in my head until like we get to the magnetic cave. Yeah, I wish I had played more of Record Keeper. I played it in Japanese before it was translated a little bit on stream. But yeah, I just didn't want to devote that time to it. I really wish they would have come up with like a standalone game that combined it all and then put that on like a standard like console system. If they would have done that, that would have been great. Unless they did they? ... Okay. My next stop I wanted to do, I think, was this Agart place. It's still going? I thought it was closing up. That's kind of cool. I really hope they'll do it for like game preservation's sake. I don't want it to get lost. In 1,000 years, we're not gonna have like all of this digital only stuff. It's kind of sad that like all the books and stuff, all the like plays from ancient Greece, like we only have a fraction of what probably existed. And so I think about that with games all the time. We're only gonna have a fraction of what existed in 1,000 years. Okay, we are now in the town of Agart, Agaruto no Mura. That's the village of Agart. That became in Super NES Agart, J2E village of Agalt, and naming way is Agart. And Japanese has that LR problem, right? So that's what we're seeing with J2E here. They put the L in there. And I don't really know like what is preferred, which one is correct. Is this like a reference to anything? Like I think Troya, that's the Japanese word for the city of Troy. But I don't know if these are anything. Or Agardu, maybe it has to do with Agardu, maybe like go up, to rise up. Never thought about that until now. I'll have to look at that later. All right. So there's a lot of people in this town. We might not finish this town. Oh yeah, we will. There's like, I want to stream for like 30 to 60 more minutes. Look at all these people. There's so many people here. I like to test my stuff in this town, like my hacking. All right. So the guy who introduces you to the town says, "Koku wa dowafu no chi o hikumono no mura, Agaruto." So this is the village of those who have a dwarf blood, like who are like of the dwarf bloodline, Agart. Agartha, maybe? Huh. Agate, I think isn't that like a stone? Right. Oh, they put a space here in easy type. That is very nice of them. Alright. Super NES. This is Agart, the village of those who have ancestors who were dwarfs. Dwarfs instead of dwarves? Is there a strong rule on how to pluralize dwarf? I never really knew. Alright. It seems to get everything in there. It adds, like, it rephrases things, but it's fine. J2E. This is the town of those of dwarven blood, Agalt. Village would be nicer, but it's fine. Naming way. This is Agart, home of the dwarves' descendants. Okay, that's fine. I do like the fact that it mentions blood specifically. Chiyohiku is to be descended from, but it literally means to pull blood. My butt is hurting. Maybe I need to pull blood. Yeah, maybe I'll take a break in a second and I'll talk to Po. Yeah, I'm gonna do that and be like back in like 5 minutes. So for now, let's go here, and then I'll put this on. Okay, I'll be back in a minute, you guys. Okay, Scott. Hello everyone, I'm back. Hopefully you can hear me. I was just talking to Po, and we're gonna get some Taco Bell, so I'm looking forward to that. Oh, just now I had to do that little break, right? And that had me thinking, like, I would love to have like custom emotes, you know, like for Twitch. I would love to have that, but to do that I have to have an affiliate thing, I think. And for me to have an affiliate thing, let me know if I'm wrong, but I think I have to run ads, and I really don't like having ads. Like, that sucks, right? But then I was realizing that, like, while I'm doing my break, maybe I could just throw the ads on there as a natural place to do it. Let me know what you think. I kind of don't know if it's worth the trade-off or not. And I don't expect to, like, make any serious money from this, so... I'm talking about Taco Bell?
I overheard you.
I'm looking forward to it. Okay, let me continue. Okay, you don't need to run ads to get affiliate? Okay, if I don't need to run ads, I won't. Hell yeah. But I really want those emotes.
Is that true?
I'll look into it.
I'll look into it, okay.
I feel like the things are always changing too, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, I heard recently that, like, to get affiliate or whatever, you have to send your ID. You have to send a photo of your ID to Twitch, and then like they run it through a bunch of databases that like are evil.
No, thank you.
So I'm not sure yet, but I would really like to just have that. I don't really know about affiliate stuff. Okay, but if I'm going to be doing this for as long as I'm going to be doing it, I might as well like do something. All right. So that guy welcomed us to Agart. So let's look around. Here's a little girl over here. Well, while we're here, let's go straight to the thing in the middle. In the middle of this town is a raised up mound. Oh wow! So see this like raised up mound in Agart? This is kind of like what the Choctaw tribe, they would always like kind of have raised mounds, and they would just do stuff on the mounds like this. And anyway, at the center of these mounds is a well, a secret well. But first let's talk to the guy guarding the well. ここには古くから伝わる井戸が祀ってあるんです。So the well, okay, there is a well that is worshipped here, that has been passed down since the old times, something like that. There's just like a not worshipped, but something like that, like enshrined. I guess worship, but there's just basically a enshrined well from the old days is here. その深さは計り知れないとか. And supposedly its depth is unmeasurable. So in unmeasurable depth, we can say unfathomable, probably. 計り知れない. How does this go? Unfathomable, inestimable, immeasurable. Literally it means it cannot be measured. Okay, this becomes in Super NES. Here we have an ancient well, which capital A, capital W, enshrined. It's said that this well is bottomless. That is... the fact that it can't be measured is different. I'll say it's fine, but it shouldn't be bottomless. Okay. I'll say this is all fine. J2E, we have an old well that has been here for ages. It's said to be bottomless. Alright. We'll say that's fine too. It says old, no, it's like Matsuru is a pretty important word to have here. It's one of the big ones, like it's a shrine or it's something that we worship. Something like that. It's not just some ancient well, not just some old stinky well. So take that point off LJ2 here. So yeah, enshrined is in Super NES. Naming Way says, an ancient well is enshrined here. They say its depth is unfathomable. Yeah. I wonder if they're pulling from what I had on my site. Alright. Okay, that one's probably the best one. Now to continue. We're going into the well zone. And then if we check the well, it's Cecil speaks now. Soko nashi no you ni fukaso da. ... It's so deep it looks like it's bottomless. ... So in Super NES, that becomes looks really deep. ... I would have liked it to say something about bottomless. It's so deep it looks bottomless. J2E, this well looks bottomless. Naming Way looks deep. Okay, yeah, that one's pretty weird. Alright. Soko nashi is a fun word. It means bottomless, endlessly deep, or infinite. But as I recall, like if you're like a heavy drinker, you'll be called Soko nashi sometimes. Alright, let's go back. Yeah, they don't have the ability to measure it, yeah. Okay, so let's talk to this lady now. この村の言い伝えによれば、すべてのものには裏と表が存在する. So according to like old stories of this village, all things have a front and back side to them, like a front and a reverse side, like a coin. Kind of think of a coin. Everything has a front and a back to it. So この世界にも ... Yes, even this world has those things. So that's how that goes. Super NES. So this story is specific to this village. All right. Super Nia says, our legend has it that all has its reverse. I would have liked it to say front and reverse, because that's going to be important. Yeah, I'm going to take off that. That front is important, because this is important, like lore, you know? Yes, this world is no exception. Okay, that part's fine. J2E. According to legend, everything consists of a front and a back. Okay. It's not specific to this town, this village, so I'm taking out the point there. Yes, this world is no exception. Okay, that's fine. Oh, the point I took off, that was a good call, because it used to say, according to one of our legends, everything consists of a front and a back. It's not just a generic legend known anywhere. It was specific to this village. Alright, naming way. Our legend says there are two sides to every coin. What? I can tell you that without a legend. Take off a point on that. This world is no exception. I feel like naming way should get 2 points off on that. For just my gut is telling me that. And it's not because I'm hungry. Hello everyone. Did we already talk to this girl? Oh, okay. So this girl is talking like an energetic little girl. Atashi chikara mochi yo. I have strength. I'm real strong. I'm saying it in a feminine, girly way. Oji-chan no zutto oji-chan wa motto chikara mochi datta tte. So they say that my grandpa's way more grandpa was even stronger. That's how that goes. Like I can almost just hear little kids talking. You know how like in real life when little kids are talking, they can't really they don't really have like a good flow with their words. I'm getting that really well in this Japanese here. Super NES. I'm very strong, but my great-great-great-grandpa was much stronger. No, because everything in this village is about hearsay and like the old stories and the old legends. That's like the big thing of this town. Everyone's talking about hearsay and like the old stories that they grew up hearing and stuff like that. So I would have liked that to have been also consistent. So I'll take out the point there. Basically like hearsay. J2E. I'm really strong, but my great-great-great-great-grandfather was much stronger. Again, would have liked more than that. They just added 2 muches in there. Naming way. I'm really strong, but my great-great-great-grandpa was even stronger. Alright, take off the point on there. Let me walk around a little bit. I think naming way is hiding in there, right? Yep. Yeah, how did that change? We've already looked at naming way before. Oh yeah, just the formatting change. I don't remember where the chest is in here. There's like one chest that's in here. I think it's on the other side. Hey guys, did you know that every coin has 2 sides? I think there's a weird guy up here, right? Wasn't there a weird guy up here? Am I going crazy? Get over here. There you are. I found you, weird guy. Alright, there's a weird old guy just like up in the corner of town. Washiri no go senzo. Doyatte kita ka? Sore wa no. So I was saying, huh? Our ancestors? How did they get here? Well, you see, ... Okay. So, Super NES says, what? Our ancestors? How did they come here? Let me see, that is ... So all good there so far. J2E. Our ancestors, how did they get here? Well, that's a long story. Naming way. What was this? Naming way just says, I wonder how our ancestors got here. Okay, naming way you. Okay, let me finish this block of blocks. Okay. So he says, then he says, Hate, ... Wasurete shimatta ka no? Well, I guess I've forgotten. He's like, huh? Oh, well, I guess I've forgotten. Something like that. Then Super NES, that becomes I forgot. I really like his old man speech in there in Japanese. It kind of falls out. J2E. Well, that's a long story. I guess I forgot it. I'll say that's fine. Okay, naming way combines everything down into one line. I wonder how our ancestors got here. So the idea is he must have known at some point, but it's been a long time because he's ancient and he's forgotten. So how many lines does that take out? Alright, let's take out 2 points for Sorewa no atte wasurete shimatta ka no 1, 2. While I'm on this side, I'll just go down this way. Alright, we have a energetic little boy saying, Dwarfu no shison dakara kana, boku ga chibi nano wa. Maybe it's because I'm a descendant of the dwarves. Is that why I'm so puny? Oga no shison dattara yokatta no ni. I would have preferred to be a descendant of ogres instead, though. Something like that. Superness. It's because of my dwarf blood that I'm so short. No, he's wondering. That kana question mark. It's like, I wonder. So that sort of mental state is different. But then says, I wish I had an ogreish one. So ogreish is kind of a funny. It's strange to think that like a Japanese native would know the word ogreish. I sure wouldn't know off the top of my head, but it's good. But it's weird that I wish I had an ogreish blood. I wish I had ogre blood. Would have been better. Okay. J2E. Since I'm a descendant of dwarves, I'm really short. I wish I was a descendant of an ogre. No, he's wondering. Naming way. My dwarven heritage is why I'm so short. Wish I was related to ogres instead. Just a little bit of characterization on this little boy, wondering why he is the way he is. But in these translations, he just states this: I am this way because I am this way. It's picky, but as a translator, I gotta be the one guy who cares. Okay, we found the secret item, the Hokkyoku no Kaze. That's the North Pole wind. Before we were only finding the South Pole winds. Now we found the North Pole, and because it's easier and because it's shorter, all the translations prefer to use the word Arctic for this and Antarctic for the South Pole. But it is literally the North Pole, Hokkyoku, North Pole, the Arctic. Literally is like north and pole, north and extreme, northern extreme. That's how you say North Pole. Alright, I want to make sure I didn't miss anyone on this level. I think I got everyone there. I think I talked to her. Alright, let's go talk to this other lady over here. Oh, get out of the way, man. Okay, we're talking to an old lady now. Oh, there's easy type change. Watashi da wa taiyo no megumi na nashi de wa ikite yukemasen. A little bit older style speech. We cannot survive. We cannot survive without the bounty of the sun. Without like the sun's blessings, megumi. Is it blessing or grace? We cannot live without the blessing of the sun, without the grace of the sun. Oh my gosh, the Choctaws are very sun people. Is this me? Right. Taiyo no, so we cannot survive without the blessing of the sun. Shikashi gosenzo wa shigatta toka. However, apparently our ancestors were different. How that goes. Alright, so they changed this in easy type, the Taiyo no Megumi Nashi Dewa. Without the blessings of the sun, this became Watashi da wa Taiyo no Hikari Nashi Dewa. So we cannot live without the light of the sun. So it made it a little easier and clearer to younger speakers, I guess. Alright, so Super NES, this becomes, we can't live without the sun. But our ancestors were a bit different. I would have liked Megumi is like a blessing or a grace or something like that. That's a good positive vibe thing. That is missing in Super NES. I would have liked it, but I won't mark off. Like they see the sun as like this thing that gives them blessing or a bounty or something like that. J2E. I can't live without the sun, but my ancestors were different. Well, first it's we. This da is a pluralizer suffix. Watashi da means us. So watashi means I or me. By putting the pluralizer at the end, it becomes us. But J2E says I, so I'll take that off. It says my also, so I'll take off there. Oh. Okay. The Super NES doesn't have the hearsay that I keep talking about this village, so I'm going to take off a point on Super NES. And J2E also takes off the hearsay. Take off a point there. The hearsay used to exist in the old patch, and that's why I'm responding the way I am. But I hear my ancestors were different. That's what it used to be. So no one really knows. Everyone's kind of like lost trail of who their ancestors were. It's been so long that their ancestors' story is a little broken. So everyone's just talking in hearsay in this town. But hearsay requires more text, and if you're fighting for ROM space, that's some of the first stuff to be chopped off. Right. I'll point that out in a second. There's more to this hearsay being cut off thing. I'll show it off in a few minutes. Naming says, we can't live without the sun, but our ancestors were a bit different. Okay, the hearsay is again missing, so here we go. They're flirting with the negative 400. Let's go into the observatory. Megumi is the blessing. It might be, yeah. As someone's asking if it's the same word in Japanese as in the Mysidian legend. Megumi, I think so. All right, so there's a lady running around in this observatory. Actually, does this have a text name? Let me go back out. Back in. Okay, so this is the Ten Mondai, and that's the like observatory. Ten Mondai, how's this come up? Ten Mondai, Astronomical Observatory. This becomes at Super NES Astro Tower. That's a funny phrase for that, Astro Tower. It's not even quite a tower, is it? You kind of just have like one floor. It's an observatory. I'll say it's fine. J2E says Astronomy Tower. Naming says Astro Tower. It could just be an observatory, you guys. Just let it be an observatory. Literally, it's heavens, something, and then platform. Right. Let's talk to this lady now. I think this is the wife of the astronomer. It even fits observatory. Okay. This lady in Japanese says, Uchi no hito tara kansoku ni netchū suru to nomazu kuwazu nan dakara. So uchi no hito is a phrase in Japanese. It literally means person inside. And it less literally means like person within my group. But even less literally, but the actual intent is my husband. So uchi no hito is like a phrase you have to learn. You have to learn it on you just have to learn it brute force. Uchi no hito's generally what like a wife will call their husband sometimes. Uchi no hito. You can see it in this dictionary here. My husband, or one's family, like my family person. Actually, when I worked on One Piece one time, this phrase came up, Uchi no hito, and I translated it as husband. And then I think a bunch of fans kind of were like confused on how I came up with that phrase, but it is just a phrase that you have to learn. I think I learned this in Japanese 101 actually, when we were learning all the Japanese family terms. So uchi no hito. There's also a similar term is ano hito. Can also mean husband. It can also mean like Mr. Right. Ano hito. So sometimes hito is kind of like a husband. You just gotta get used to it. It's kind of like advanced, I guess. Uh-oh, we got raided. Hello, raiders. Star raiders. Okay, we're in the Astro Tower, so it fits. Uchi no hito tara kansoku ni netchū suru to nomazu kuwazu nan dakara. So she's kind of complaining about her husband here and saying like, my darn husband, when he gets so caught up in his observation work, he just never, literally it says he never drinks or eats. No mazu kuwazu. It doesn't show up on my dictionary here. But he just kind of like gets so absorbed in his work that he just kind of forgets to eat and drink and all that kind of stuff. He forgets this. All right, Super NES. Once Corey starts researching, he doesn't even listen to me. So the family relation has been cut in this Super NES translation, and also names him. So take off that point. I guess the husband's name is Corey. I guess as we'll see in a second. Corey Hotline. So no mazu kuwazu. He doesn't even listen to me. I say that's okay for a translation. Okay, J2E. My husband has been so absorbed in his work that he doesn't even eat or sleep. So specifically, the work that's being explained is kansoku, is observation. So just it becomes generic there, but it's the Astro Tower, so we understand. No mazu is don't drink, and kuwazu is don't eat. This becomes doesn't eat or sleep. But the idea is the same, so it's fine. Okay, we can see those complaints that I just had were actually better in the old J2E patch. My husband has been so absorbed in his observations that he doesn't even eat or drink. So I guess an editor came by and was like, this is kind of awkward sounding, but by changing that, you removed those like little teeny details underneath it all, like sort of the world building. The average player, it won't matter, but as a translator, especially one if you're like saying this is what the Japanese people are experiencing, you have to care about those little details. All right. For making that mistake, I'm gonna take off point. Naming Way says once Koryo starts studying, he often forgets to eat. So the husband thing is missing. Studying instead of observation. Well, since I'm okay with researching. Okay, I'll say that's fine. Like her complaint is obvious. All right, now we're gonna talk to, I guess, who Corey is. Yeah, maybe. Okay, we're talking to the other guy that's down here. Koko wa Koryo Tenmondai. This is Koryo Observatory. So this is the Koryo is the name of this place. Koryo. Like Korio. Alright. Yeah, this is the slow play. It's not even a long play at this point. This is turtle slow play. Okay. So this is Koryo Observatory. So this place has an actual name, Koryo Observatory. And that became Astro Tower in Super NES. I don't know why they would have done that. I don't take out the point because I'm confused by that change. That becomes, this is Corrillo's Observatory in J2E. I'm just gonna assume that this is like a Spanish Y sound. It looks like it was Corriro in the old J2E. Alright, I'll say that's fine. Welcome to Astro Tower. Okay. Oh, Naming Way has gone under 400. It deserves Alright. And it looks like SNES is gonna go there soon too. My cat is just staring at me. Don't stare at me. You're weirding me out. Alright. The next part. Sekai de yuitsu no boenkyou ga aru desu yo. So the one and only telescope, the world's one and only telescope is here. So yuitsu is an important word to know. Only, sole, and unique. Right. Super NES. The one and only place with the telescope. This "the" is weird, as we've always been seeing in the Super NES. I won't mark that off, but would have liked it to say "in the world." That detail of it in the world would be nice. I won't mark off on that, because it's implied. J2E. The world's only telescope is here. Okay, that's good. How was that before? Okay. Then, Naming Way. Welcome to Astro Tower. The one and only place with a telescope. Okay, I'm gonna say that's okay. The reason I point out this Yuiitsu is because I think in the PlayStation 1 translation or GBA translation, they messed this up. If you look on my site on legendsoflocalization.com, I go into detail on that more. Alright. Okay, this is going to break the text window, so let me read from here. Alright. This guy continues by saying, Saikin ski no yosu ga hen de kansoku ni isogashii desu. Recently, the things on the moon have been weird, like the moon has been looking strange, and so I am very busy with observation. I guess it could be I or we, there's no pronoun in there. Right. Super NES, that all becomes, there's something going on with the moon. We're busy researching. I would have liked the Saikin recently, like a recent thing is happening. I would have liked that recent in there. Let me see if that matters. Okay, I'm just going to say it's okay on Super NES. There's something going on with the moon. That sounds like there's a recent embedded deeply in there. J2E. Recently, strange events have been happening on the moon. Not strange events, just as looking weird. Take off that. All of our efforts have gone towards observing it. It's a little funky. I'm okay, I'll stick with it. What's going on there? ... question mark. Okay, that line is not in the original, so I'll take off a point. Yeah. So we can see they used to say we've been really busy observing it. But what's going on there was added in, was always in there. Naming way. We're busy researching the red moon. Okay, the red moon thing isn't happening yet. It's just saying that it's weird and we're busy, like, keeping observation of it. So I took off a point for the red detail there. Alright. Where does this come in yet? Does this come in yet? Not yet. We'll get there in a second. Okay, so there's some books in here. Let's just look at the books. Okay, so I'm looking at the books in this observatory. Here comes Yozora no Romanticism. So, romanticism of the night sky is how that kind of literally translates. Does this even show up in there? Romanticism of the night sky. This becomes stars of dream. Romanticism is kind of like hopes and dreams and sort of, so I'm okay with that. I would have liked night sky in there. This is all fine though. J2E, the romanticism of the night sky, okay. Naming way, the dream of stars, okay. This other bookcase says Seiza no namae sono yurai. Names of the constellations and their origins, or like where the names come from. Like it's the origins of the names of the constellations. Super NES, that just becomes the constellations. Because this detail was specifically added in there, I would have liked that detail to remain in the Super NES, so take off a point. J2E says the origins of the constellations. It should say names. Alright, and naming way just says constellations, so I take off points. This last bookcase says Tsuki no Michikake to ... Chinrui no Rekishi. So the how do we do that? Michikake, like the waxing and waning of the moon and humanity's history. Super NES, that became the moon and human. So I would have liked the history part of human in there. So Super NES has now hit negative 400, and that becomes J2E, the phases of the moon and the history of man. Okay, that's fine. Well, that's weird that says no difference there. Why does it say something's different there? I've never even seen this before. Weird. Naming way, the moon and humans. Okay, take that off. Alright, we're going... I gotta close the door. I don't think we're going to get through Agart today. I'm probably going to end pretty soon because I think Po has already purchased Taco Bell. Alright, so now we are in the Kansokushitsu, the observatory room. Kansokushitsu? Well, how does this thing bring it across? Observation room, Shitsu. This just became observatory. In Super NES, observation room in J2E, and observatory naming way. I'll leave it all okay. But it's weird that they... Why couldn't they just call it like the observation room and then call the other place observatory instead of Astro Tower? It's weird. Alright, so let's look at this guy. There's a guy in this observatory. Okay. Watashi wa Koryo. I am Koryo. In Super NES, this becomes I am Professor Cory. So the name changed, it looks like, but that's fine. Professors has been added. Professor has been added. It doesn't matter, but where's the school that you work at? I doubt your credentials, sir. I'll mark off on there. Naming Way does it too. I'll mark off on there. Alright. I am Professor Cory, Super NES. I am Corillo. It says in J2E. It was probably Coriro before. Is this a reference to anything, Corio? I don't recognize it. Why would you use this specific spelling? That's so interesting. Alright. And the naming way says, I'm Professor Corio. Koko de tsuki o kansoku shitoru. I or we are observing the moon here. Super NES. I researched the moons, or yeah, moons, because there's multiple moons. I researched the moons here in this tower. J2E. I keep a constant watch on the night sky from this tower. No, you're watching the moons, J2E. I should mark off 2 for that 2 moons, but just 1. Alright. Naming way says, I research our 2 moons from this tower. Okay. Then it says, Futatsu no Tsuki. The 2 moons. Looks like naming way is going to break that out, but that's fine. Futatsu no Tsuki ... Ippo wa ikimono no oran tsuki daga. The 2 moons. One has no living things on it, but Mo ippo wa doumo seibutsu ga iru dashi konseki ga aru. But the other one seems to have signs of living things on it. Somehow seems to have signs of living things on it. So they're not sure, but there seems to be signs. There's like a hint of signs kind of feeling. Okay, Super NES. We have 2 moons. One is just a simple moon, but the other seems to have living creatures on it. J2E. This planet has 2 moons. Do we know the concept of that we're on a planet in this world? We'll just say that it's okay. This planet has 2 moons. One has no life on it, but the other one might. Most peculiar. I would have liked the signs and all that, but this is going to be too complicated, so that's okay that they don't. Okay. Naming way. One's just a simple satellite, but the other holds life. Oh, it's saying that there are signs of life, so that's a mistake on naming way. Like they're seemingly. Alright. Then, sono tsuki ga saikin akaku natte kita. Marude chi no iro no you ni na. So that moon, we're talking about the second moon, the one with life on it. That moon has recently turned red, ... almost as if the color of blood. This became Super NES. One is just a simple moon, but the other seems to have living creatures on it, and it's turning red. Like it has turned red, but okay. Just like the color of rubies, ... So this is where Nintendo of America didn't like blood stuff, mentions of blood for some reason. So they changed it with ruby. So Super NES, I'm going to mark off. And I want to show that any manual for Final Fantasy II for Super NES, we can actually see a pre-release version of this line. You can see it right here. The line used to say, "Just like the color of our blood." So blood used to be in there. Alright. Used to be blood in there. I really want to play that. There must be like some beta prototype ROM, right? I want to see that so badly. Someone go join Square Enix, become the Ultra President, and then find it. Alright. So, J2E. That moon's turning red. Red. The same color as our blood. Okay. I mean, our blood isn't technically, it's not our blood, just blood in general, but that's fine. Okay. Naming way. But the other holds life. We got already marked that off. It seems to be turning blood red as well. Okay. Like the delivery on this naming way isn't ideal, but I'm going to say it's okay. Then Corey continues. Tada naranu koto ga okinakereba yoi no daga. Here's hoping that nothing out of the ordinary happens, or that nothing bad happens. Tada naranu. How does that work? Unusual, uncommon, extraordinary, out of the ordinary, incomparable, serious, alarming. So let's hope. Here's hoping that nothing alarming happens. Here's hoping that nothing out of the ordinary happens, nothing serious happens. That's how that goes. Super NES. I hope this doesn't mean anything bad. ... We've got Pac-Man coming to eat these dots. J2E. I hope nothing bad is about to happen. ... Okay. Naming way. I hope this isn't a bad sign. ... Okay, that's fine. Let's see. So I think I might end it real soon here, actually. Because the next part I want to look at is about the legend of this place. This place has its own legend. Just as Mysidia had a legend, this village has its own legend. And there actually is a person here who knows that legend. And then like a bunch of text in here gets messed up in translations. Like the PlayStation translation messes things up. The GBA translation we discover is a bad cut and paste of the PlayStation translation. And that's how we can actually prove that from the mistakes that happen in here. So I want to give this section of the game its proper time and not while I'm like hungry and tired. So we'll do that tomorrow. And I might want to go out first though. Yeah, I'm gonna go out and save it. I know I'm ending very suddenly, but usually this is about the length of my streams. Let me save it here. We are now 39 hours and 35 minutes into the game, but stream-wise, I think we're like probably into the 50 to 60 hours. Alright, so if you're curious, after today's like crazy pop culture reference from J2E, the current scoreboard is -402 for Super NES, -336 for J2E, and -406 for Naming Way. So everyone's just plunging deeper and deeper underwater. It's difficult to say that anyone is any better at this point. I'm not ready to commit to it yet, but I see the need for just like a nice, clean, simple translation patch someday. And I have all the hacking already done, so maybe I'll just do it someday. Not meant to replace like the 3DS versions or anything like that, but just more like so people can do hacks of their own and have like a decent translation. Although I don't think my translation would be compatible with like a bunch of other ROMs because I want to expand stuff. Alright, so we'll do a save state. Alright. Alright. Whoa, we gotta stretch. Alright, so that's gonna be it for today. I'll be back tomorrow and we'll do we'll finish out Agart, and then I don't think there's anywhere else to go, so we'll go to Toroya's town, then we'll go to Toroya's castle, and then we'll probably end up talking to Edward and starting all of that. I don't think we'll end up finishing the magnetic cave tomorrow, but we might reach it. We'll see. We have all that black chocobo stuff to do, and all kinds of crazy stuff. So there's a lot still to do. But we're going to be going back to the story soon. All right. So that's it for today. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow. Oh yeah, I'll do the telescope tomorrow.